Hello, this is Dan speaking. I'm gonna go with the curly hair there. Basically, me and my friend James decided to go survive in the jungle for 18 days over in Malaysia. We're going to do this with no clothes, no food, and no water. This is the first kind of attempt at the trip, as you might be able.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think we need to get to the tree line.
Okay, so go to tree line.
Yeah. Dan's pretty much just gone ahead to scout to see where what path we have to take next. The path that we've just taken was very long, you know, about 2 miles. So yeah, sweated a lot, but we're looking forward to the next part of the journey.
Oh god. I don't know if I can hear water or not, but I'll see. Question is, can I hear water? I don't know. Oh fuck, this is so hard! This is so hard. James, answer! James! Where are you? What have you found? What have you found? What?
That valley over there.
Yeah.
But when I came down, there were so many forks in the road.
Yeah.
That I then went up over this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Went down the other side.
Yeah.
And then it looked exactly the same as that one.
Oh yeah.
So I thought I'd done.
Yeah. What do you find in the furthest area?
Oh mate, it's all forest, but it's all hilly, like proper.
Fuck. Yeah, from now on we stick together. Yeah. Just yeah, looking at the map and figure out exactly where we are. Oh, I'm not doing one of these again. We've gone the too far distance. Looking at maps, I feel like we are way up north of where we should be. Yeah, we made a mistake in where I decided to get us to set off. Yeah, it's pretty messed up right now. What do I do?
I think we need to. I think we've got a good hour or a bit left of sunlight.
We need to walk, but we need to. We can't. There's nothing following up hills. Is there like a main path we can go down?
What, down into there?
Is there a main path to go down that way?
Yeah, but it goes into there.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know. I don't know the direction that is. That's the problem. So after going wrong and backtracking almost 2 hours and the sun glaring down, and we're desperately running out of water, almost pretty much to nothing. We've got 2 options. We think we're back on track, having followed the sun. We can either head for the hill in yonder, which has got dirt path, or that looks more southerly, and there's a path just there. So
I'll follow that dirt path down there, mate.
Follow the one to yonder.
Yeah, it's a must dirt one. Found ourselves some water. It looks like we've got a very dirty source, but we're going to test it out. We've got a choice, either dehydration or dysentery. And I'd rather face dysentery. I'm going to filter it from my top and just hope it's not too bad. It could be filled with, I don't know, fertiliser, I've got no idea. I'll give it a taste. It doesn't taste too bad, but obviously looks can be deceiving. But ours need to be hydrated, and then we can keep on walking.
We'll get a shelter and try and get some water back in our bodies.
Yeah. So back from there, that's where we were maybe like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Right in the distance. You see that kind of light brown patch?
Where that brown patch over there is, that's where Dan came across some sort of lizard.
A monitor lizard. There was a monitor lizard, and I scuttled away. Quite fast, very big. We didn't even bother to chase it, to be honest. For the sky, plenty of dark clouds. Had a bit of thunder. Yeah. So let's move on. As it started to get late and energy waned, James scouted ahead
to see what was over the hill.
We're at the top of another valley. We've struggled to get this far, to be fair. Having found a little bit of water on the way. Dan's sort of drunk some, we think might be some dirty water, so we'll see what happens to him as the night goes on. It's starting to get dark, as you can see. We've got a little predicament. We don't know whether to stay here, use the sort of resources we've got quite close by, or to try and make it to the other side of that valley. Myself, I think we should stay here for tonight. I think we travelled quite a long way. Pitch up a little shelter. Hopefully it will rain so we can get some more water. And yeah, at the crack of dawn, crack on, because somewhere in the horizon over there is a lake, and that's what we're trying to track down.
Bloody cold, it is thundering down. We haven't got any shelter, we didn't have any time to make it, and wasn't really many leaves to actually make any decent shelter, so we're literally just under a tiny tree, as you can see up here, and it is bloody cold, we're bloody wet, and there's nothing to do. We can't really move because it's too dark now, so we've just got to weather out the storm. We've got no kind of rain gear of any type, nothing to cover ourselves in, so we just have to weather it and see what happens. To be honest, it's thundering, it's like lightning down as well, but I guess we've got to survive. That's it.
On the bright side, plenty of water now. Plenty of water.
Just cutting down any kind of shrubbery. I'm going to cover it all over ourselves. It's our only choice at this moment. The more we can get, the better. It's going to both insulate us as well as keep some of the water off us. As you can see, it's still lightning down. If we don't fix ourselves, we can easily go to hypothermia tonight. So, more, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that done.
We spent a night in this shelter. I say shelter, all it was, we went under a tree and we just cut down as many branches and leaves as we could and kind of covered it over ourselves. We woke up thinking it was like 5 in the morning, but it turned out it was only like 12 at night. Or no, it's like 11 at night or 10 at night. When we kind of checked, like we feel like we was there for an eternity. I was just getting more and more. Once the rain stopped, it's pointless being underneath there because it's just wet. You can see, I massively busted up my arm over my hand. I had a machete, I put it down into the ground and my hand kind of slipped and just like whacked into it. So you can see, I think there, it needs stitches. It 100% needs stitches. There's no like way about it. It's way too deep. But obviously there's no way to do that in the kind of the jungle. So it's gonna have to fight on. Use a bit of super glue on it tomorrow morning and, you know, hope for the best. I fell down this little, you can see it there. I was busting it. I went to go grab some branches, and one of my legs went down. My other leg stayed on the surface up here, and it twisted my knee massively. That could have been a much worse fall. I didn't know it was even that deep. I thought it was only maybe 2-3 foot deep, but it's clear that it goes down. It goes down several feet. I'm just licking anything. That hand is absolutely fucked. It's bleeding everywhere last night. I don't even want to do this. Fuck's sake. It feels like alcohol there. It smells like it. Oh, I'm just cleaning the outside of it right now because I really don't want to be touching the inside. As you can see, that's a fucking horrible cut. That's such a horrible cut. Never had a cut like this in my life.
Sure, that's the best idea.
Yeah. Really the only idea to cut this big. It's the only choice. Let's see if I can have some in here. I don't know if that's gone down to the muscle. I don't know. I'll say that I can move my hand, but I don't know what that means. I'm going to do this with my hand outstretched, so if I do it like that, it might close it up too much. Fuck me. Test it. Fuck me, this is crazy in the jungle. That stings. Okay.
How does that feel?
Oh my god, it bloody hurts. It's not going to be like that. I'm hoping that it's only skin deep, because if that's gone down to the tendons, I'll just put super glue on my tendons. Okay, GoPro's turned off, I guess. That better be just skin deep, because super glue on a tendon is not going to help at all. It bloody hurts. Just keep it outstretched and still. I've got it all over my hand as well, so my hand's covered in super glue. If it seals out the bacteria, hopefully there's not too much bacteria in there already, so you get in. But hopefully it protects you from any of the bacteria. Just slapping at my leg to brace it. Because that fall down that little short ravine is. Anyway, I actually bought this to attach GoPros to. I don't really know how to even. I don't know. I think I got a bit lower. Never used this before, so. I think the idea is just to have a ton of pressure on it, I think. That feels a lot better.
And we started trekking out. I don't think we decided as to whether we were kind of trekking out the jungle or I was going to try to stay in the jungle. It was kind of like we're still trying to find out where we were, so it was a massively long trek just to get out. You'll see this as we go, and it's just you can't see anything in the dark really. You got the lights, but like you can only see so far ahead of you. Can't see in the distance.
At this point we kind of need to leave. It's been the second day and it's bleeding again. It's gone down in feces, I believe. It's 100% going to get infected. There's no way for me to keep it clean in any hope anymore. So we're going to go out and just get it stitched up, because the super glue didn't work. Maybe made it worse, who knows, but yeah. We're going to jump our way out. Go first, be very careful. You take those ones there and I'll take some of these here. Just be very careful. Yeah? That does not look too good.
We're trying to get Dan out of the jungle / rainforest. I haven't drunk pretty much no water since yesterday. So I'm massively dehydrated. So we're going to try and head for the highway, which is just over there that we found. Try and hitchhike a lift back to the town.
Was able to give us a lift to another location, maybe like a small village. They gave us some like rice or something. I just remember James being sick. And then we got another lift in a vehicle to a hospital. I don't know how long it took, but yeah, in a hospital, fine. It went fine. Literally, at first they only gave me glue stitches. Well, glue sutures really, and that was all good. They cleaned it all fine, went back to the hotel, but then the big problem is that when we came...
My second day in hospital. I'm just getting some more stitches, actual stitches this time, so I can kind of get it sealed permanently.
Back like the next day, the stitches had reopened, the glue stitches, so then I had to get actual physical stitches in, and that was a pain, as you will see. They did originally want to give me 6, but I was like, I'll give me 8, because I knew I was going to go back into the jungle, so I wanted to make sure it was working.
So we're heading back out into the jungle. I was having to take some time off to get my wound kind of healed and fixed by a few doctors, get it all stitched up so it can kind of prevent it from getting infected again. So we're just going to head back in and see what we can do in this challenge now.
In a different location now, so we're in a place called, just south of a place called Kuala Tahan. Thicker bush, and should be a lot more exciting, I think.
Yeah.
A bit more of a challenge.
So at this point we'd been hiking for a few hours under like the beating sun. So yeah, we're heading back in after doing a ton of research to find out a new location. Hopefully this one will be more successful. It was getting to the point that whilst we were trekking through, you know, the day was getting on, it's getting almost a bit darker, maybe like 4 or 5 p.m. or rain clouds appearing. So it started raining a bit, and we did start to get cold, so we're kind of in a hurry to get through there, as we wanted to start the actual full part of the experiment and make a shelter ASAP, because based on our previous night, we knew it was probably going to be a tough one. So after like maybe like a couple of hours of trekking, we was in a hurry and a race against time to make our shelter. So at this point we didn't have to take our clothes off until like, I don't know, 20 minutes in. I'm not really sure at all, but yeah, you'll see we do take them off very shortly. I think maybe we forgot, or we was in a hurry, or so.
There you go. Let's put that. We'll seal up this part and leave that last to do, okay?
Fine.
We'll seal up this part and leave that last to do.
Yep. Then we've got to lay stuff on the floor, yeah?
Yeah. Let's get it dry first.
So unfortunately around this point we did lose a ton of footage on our GoPros. We did have a lot of the SD cards that kind of went completely corrupt. But yeah, you would have seen more angles from this, but you can see it started to pour down a bit. Just about to eat a lizard as well. See that?
Yeah.
So they're going to eat raw. Lizards generally don't have too much bacteria inside them. I need a dilly one. For the tail, it's quite easy. That's the body. And the head. There you go, that's a few calories in.
I think I'm going to go inside. Mate, I'm going inside. Yeah. Get yourself a leaf to sit down on, mate. Yeah.
Welcome, that's fine.
Your choice, mate. Yeah. If you can fit it, I don't mind. You want me to fit in there?
Yeah.
It's our shelter. They're absolutely chucking it down right now. So come inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be very cold tonight, and we are very wet already. It's not covering everywhere, but we can just ride it out for a bit and just hopefully fill it out more. Hold that. Yeah. Bring the bag in. Oh, sorry, mate, sorry. Oh.
Shall I stop recording?
Yeah.
How do you
I'll do it.
Wow.
Okay, man, it feels like deja vu. Yeah, so yeah, just scouted a bit earlier today, just down towards the river. Kind of due east is our best direction, and that'll hopefully take us to the more flatter land.
So up the road there, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, make a move as soon as we can.
Yeah, man. Because we need to get there before midday, I reckon.
Yeah.
Before the midday sun, so we can crack on with shelter.
Yeah.
You know, not exhaust too much energy.
Yeah.
And potentially get some water back in us as well.
Yeah.
Because I think by that point we will be lacking very low.
Yeah, we've got a bit of water in the can from the overnight rain. We've checked that out and see what we can do.
Yeah, mate, let's crack on.
Okay, not much. We have to use
a little bit.
the little that we've got to take various anti-malaria tablets, as well as a antibiotic for my machete cut. So do you want to go first? It's gonna be as clean as water gets around here for now. Don't feel it at any point.
Fine.
I'm just scouting way up here, see if there's a path. We don't really want to be going higher, that's our issue. It's going to be unbelievably hot. So yeah, the faster we move, the better. I'm just taking my bandages off, just because it is getting sweaty and it's moist underneath there. I'm going to let the air get to it and make sure I don't really use his hand. As you can see, it's very difficult to walk across here, so we have to weight on our backs. My feet are just getting caned into stones and rocks. We've probably got quite a few more miles of this, to be honest. Going to use that I found and some duct tape. There you go. Oh, this stuff's falling apart. Might have to get some different ones for you.
That'll be alright.
That's better. Duct tape, please. I'll smash it. Cheers. Can you record this, mate?
Yeah.
From your angle? No, with your camera.
Oh, okay.
So we've got two angles. Yeah. Recording? Nice. I feel these is perfect throw as well. It's all coming up well. Let's smash this water and we get moving. Cut.
Yeah, did this yesterday when I slipped down side of the bank, quite close not to hit my eye.
Quite thankful it didn't hit your eye.
Yeah.
That's out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't them biting on your way down. Tastes much like sand. And a sharp taste of vinegar. Really not particularly nice, but
It tastes like pepper.
just stand in there. Don't know if they're carrying rocks or food, but either way it tastes like sand.
Oh mate, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Look at Wolfing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It tastes like sand. Okay, we're going to keep on moving, try to get to a place to boil some water during the midday sun. Yeah, we need that. No, we'll take dysentery in a few days and take dehydration now. Okay, we're going to keep on moving, try to get to a place to boil some water during the midday sun.
Can you see the river?
No, I know where it is because you can tell. There's trees near. The trees stop here and the trees start on the other side again. So you know where the river is. I can't see it.
Shall I walk further down that way to see if there's an easier point?
Well, so we're just moving our camp closer to our resources, namely the stream. It's a bit nicer. Hopefully, there's less deadfall as well. Going to be kind of cleaning off. I'm going to jump into the stream. What about you, James?
Cleaning, but it would be nice
To cool down. To cool down is more important, though.
You know, I'm suffering really bad from terrible sunburn. And with the rubbing of the straps, it's causing me quite a lot of pain. So I think we'll just go down to the stream, have a little dip,
Yeah.
come back, smash out the A-frame,
Yeah.
and then we can smash out a good old fire as well.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of resources on the ground. The fire, we should be set really, and then from there all we've got to focus on is then food.
Okay. Timber! Done. It's actually quite light.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's light, but it gets strong enough.
I'm always, you're turning
What?
around talking to me,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're like.
There's never any sort of...
How's it going?
Big one.
Smash it. It's not working.
You got yours?
Done. Just smash this out.
There you go.
That's bark. The old vine is ducked over the jungle.
Say that again, Ben. I've got you all in the same shot.
The vine is the duct tape of the jungle. Many uses, and we'll kind of stick everything together with enough kind of twists and turns. That's what we hope.
Looking good.
I'll go like it's in this bar. I like it. That. Put foam your skin around there. Bigger surface area when you get in. I'm getting very impatient with this. Looking good. We might have made it a bit small, but that's right.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. Oh well.
You could always pull up one side,
I didn't put that one side.
so like slope them in a little bit more.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, this will be fine.
Sure.
You can put some more. It's no longer a support beam. Did you see that? If we moved it very carefully, we could do that.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shout out. You've done good though, you know. Ready? Whenever you are. Yeah, more? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, done. Sweet, not done too much damage. So. Yeah, I've got some water. I'm going to focus on the fire now, mate.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it there. As you can see, my cut is not doing good. It's kind of opening up a bit. So once that's kind of sorted, we'll be able to continue. But I'm going to have to keep this hand extremely unusable for the rest of this trip, I think, before it gets infected, because it's opening up. So my hand's becoming a bit unusable. It's covered in kind of weird kind of dirt, and it's kind of bleeding out a bit, so I'm going to have to kind of take this out of action for the rest of the trip to avoid any kind of infection.
So yeah, basically at this point, this is on day 2. I wanted to make a fire. We had chosen the worst time to go out to Malaysia. It was in the middle of monsoon season. I figured that it would actually be the best time because it would be the most challenging time, but it made it a bit too challenging with making fire. Everything was so damp, so we do try our best here. Don't give up. I've already given away. Okay, we don't make fire. Well done. We get some smoke and that, but I wasn't that experienced with fire making at this point. In future trips I was better experienced and I was able to make fires a lot easier. This is me prepping the ground.
Come on. Someone out. Gently goes. Get it to spread a bit. The leaves are too wet. The leaves are too wet. Oh, the leaves are way too wet. I feel the leaves are too wet. They've got little flames, but to disinfect it. Yeah, I'm not going to use it to close the wound. It's there just to seal it from the elements. Obviously, it's sealed with it's closed with stitches, but like this will help seal it from elements because it just gets dirty and it gets sweaty. And I just need it to be closed off. hopefully just keep harmful bacteria away from it and just let my body do the job of healing it. So that I'm going to wait to dry. Okay, so the superglue's dried. Let's just seal it from any foreign elements for now. I'm going to get some kind of bandage on there of some sort and just try to keep it out of use. I need to kind of get a sterile pad on there. Got one partially open because I didn't want to use too much in the past. Just put it on. Surgical tape. I'm massively running out of bandages.
Hopefully no one else needs them.
Yeah. Half the bandage. Time, I think, is one of the hardest things to deal with out here. I think
Too much time, isn't it?
too much time, and knowing how many days we've got left is a long, long time. Knowing that you can't be at home seeing your friends, you can't.
I'm here though.
Yeah, but you know, just time out here because, like, you know.
In conversation, like we will definitely, or we're already starting to run out of things to chat about.
No, that's not an issue. That's not even a thing at the moment. But like, it's just the time of being out here. Now you've got so much time away from people at home. That's the biggest killer.
See, I don't mind that. Building it.
You don't mind it being away from people?
No, like, you know, I love seeing different parts of the world. So, you know.
Yeah.
I'm having a little bit of trouble today with the heel of my foot. All that pounding on the stone didn't help, and then yesterday I stood on a real sharp rock. It's just sent sort of a shudder right the way through my ankle and up my leg, which means every time I put pressure, I don't know if you can see, but you most probably can't. Every time I put pressure on the heel of my foot, it's caused me a very lot of discomfort and pain. Hopefully it'll get better, because we have a day of trekking tomorrow.
Pretty much a long time of trekking, and it's very difficult.
And with no shoes, I'm very much not looking forward to that.
Yeah, so yeah, just like you're in this jungle, but it's almost like you're not here at the same time. In a sense that it's hard to kind of explain, but yeah, I'm standing here right now, but my mind is not working at its full amount, so my senses aren't really working completely, so I'm not really completely aware of what's here, to be honest. And yeah, it feels a bit, maybe it's because it feels so surreal compared to being in England, I guess.
Yesterday, with Dan being out of action with one hand, I took it upon myself to sort of try and crack on with our shelter while Dan tried to do the fire. This was as good as I could get it at the time, but it's very cramped, and we learnt last night that it wasn't as watertight as we wanted, was it, Dan?
Yeah, we got off lucky because it wasn't a heavy rain. It was definitely not a heavy rain last night, so that kind of played in our favour, but we will need to add more leaves to it, because the problem with these leaves is that they're not big leaves. In this kind of area around here, you don't often see big leaves that will keep it kind of watertight. With these small leaves, it took us from one leaf onto another and then onto us eventually. Yeah. But we'd have to kind of do that. But we did have the issue of it being too tight.
Yeah.
We were kind of squirming around in there, but it was too late to kind of fix anything last night. But the advantage there is that it was a bit warmer than normal, but at the same time it was extremely uncomfortable to sleep in, and it was very, like we'd kind of nudge into each other, like I'd wake up from a dream and I'd jolt into James. James goes, "Oh, you kind of jolted into me." I was like, "What?" Because you know, I've just woken up from just a slight dream. But Yeah, the dreams are there to look forward to every night though. That's literally the only escape out of it, your dreams.
Yeah.
And then you realise, you kind of get hints in your dreams that something's not right. It could be dry in the mouth, could be something like that, you could feel wet, or you could even be camping in your dream and you realise that you actually are in the jungle and you wake up from a kind of false reality. But you know, it's what we deal with. But yeah, look, I love the dreams, but sleeping's hard. You don't get steady sleep. You wake up, go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep. It's very quick and it's not a good night's sleep, but
that's why we have
can you
to
do?
start going to sleep so early, because
Yeah.
we almost start going to sleep as soon as the sun goes down, which is about 7 o'clock, and it doesn't
Yeah.
come up until about 7.
Yeah.
So it's 12 hours almost that we're trying to fill with sleep.
Exactly that. You're never going to get perfect sleep when you're trying to in it for 12 hours, because you know, once it starts raining, you got to be in your shelter, and once you're in your shelter, you can't really do anything other than rest and fall to sleep. But you know, something we deal with.
We learned a lot, and now to make a load of amendments to it.
But as you can see, just running from here, you can see each other's bug bites. We were absolutely marauded by ants yesterday, well last night, all over our whole body. The back has been absolutely destroyed. You also got a sunburn on the back. Obviously a solution to that would be to make a raised shelter, but there's a few issues with that. First off is the temperature. We haven't been able to start a fire yet, which means if you had a raised shelter, we're going to lose more heat because of the drafts coming from underneath. And we don't have a fire, so that's going to be an issue, and being cold at night is terrible. And also the fact that we are moving from this site tomorrow, so kind of putting all that energy into making a raised shelter, which could take a whole day, but maybe even 2 days, dependent, that would, you know, would be too much for us to do. And if this is only a temperature shelter, then we have to kind of, you know, mend and make do and see what, you know, see what happens. But yeah, it's not really feasible to do a raised shelter right now. We don't have the time, the energy to do it. We have to kind of accept the bites, unfortunately.
Also, the resources around us aren't good enough either. We don't have enough vine. These are the kind of trees that we're using, which actually tend to snap very easily once you've cut them once. And
the leaf situation, where the leaves aren't big enough.
Yeah.
Like, we can look at the amount of leaves we have here, and that doesn't keep us dry. Doing that with like a raised shelter, it's going to be an even bigger issue. But yeah, we should probably crack on and start making our shelter more waterproof. Okay, so yesterday we kind of came down to the stream. We managed to find us some berries. We didn't want to eat them then because we were kind of too busy focusing on water, and there was kind of no hurry to do it. But now we've got kind of more of a day open, then we're going to give them a try out. See them right there. There's quite a few, which would be quite useful. The main issue is whether they are kind of poisonous or not, whether they're going to be harmful to us to actually eat. Okay, so we're going to do our tests on it. So I'm going to take one down. Okay, first test will be to put it on our skin, see what happens. This will be closest to our biggest. This will be our biggest meal. All I've had is a lizard, a few ants, a worm, and then this.
Yep.
That's a bit mouldy. That one's open as well.
After Dan eating some of the berries, we've both decided that there's no real effect, but we won't really tell until later. But this being our only food source, we've decided that we both will go ahead and eat the berries. So yeah, tuck in, as they say. So there we go, just gonna smash all these at once, might as well.
It's actually nice when you have them all at once, you get like a certain amount of juice in them.
Really seedy.
Oh yeah. On the focusing mostly on our head and backs. Feet never, legs never feel anything. Anything else? Is that it? Probably about a week into Malaysia, pretty much. We left on Friday. We left England on Friday from Heathrow, and yeah, so it's kind of good Friday today. Very soft. So almost hitting up a week. So that means about 2 weeks left of being in Malaysia. Also, it's going good. Made a shuttle last night, which didn't work perfectly, but we kind of today just improved it today. It's still a bit cramped in there, but it's going to stay warm. We've kind of blocked up half of the door as well. We've kind of added a lot more leaves to help waterproof it, but yeah. But it'd be nice as well if it's quite a short rainstorm as well tonight. That'd be great. But yeah, there's nothing to do now but to kind of sleep and see what happens, and kind of ride out the bug bites, which will always happen regardless. But yeah, feeling good about tonight. I'll have some good dreams. New Humber boat looks like a lot softer, a lot drier it looks, and we'll see how it feels tonight. It's still going to get bitten by bugs and ants and mosquitoes, but it's better than it was. We found ourselves a worm and found a beetle as well, something worth eating. Are you interested in a beetle at all?
Yeah.
It's only a one person bite, to be honest. How does it taste?
Mate, country.
Nice.
I've just brought myself away from the camp. I kind of want to make a sort of video diary along with this journey. So this is going to be my first sort of video for this. We're now very deep into the jungle, and you know it's been a definite struggle along the way, both physically and mentally. Physically, day one was a lot easier than yesterday, I found, just because we had the clothes. My feet took a battering yesterday on the stone. I don't really like things touching the soles of my feet, so I found that pretty much torture. But there has been some positives from coming this deep. Obviously we found the water, which, you know, is really useful. It seems very drinkable. We are filtering it. The only thing is we can't seem to get a fire going to filter it that little bit more and to make it purer. But it's not upset us yet. It's not given us like any sort of upset stomach or anything like that. So we are just carrying on drinking it. But in terms of physically, yesterday building that shelter, it took a lot out of me, a lot of energy. So I've woken up today pretty exhausted, and quite glad that we're not sort of trekking today, because we are thinking of trekking tomorrow to go find this river, because the one thing we haven't found around here is any food source, which is a major issue. You know, we've got bugs, but nothing bigger than that, and we need to find food, because eventually we will start to starve. But in terms of like last night, you know, the sleeps here, you know, are not very comfortable. They're long old nights, so it starts at about 7 o'clock when it starts to rain, then it gets pretty dark pretty quickly after that, and then you're sort of just stuck in the shelter, and it was very cramped in that shelter last night. We were in there for about 12 hours. Don't know how many hours of that we actually slept. You know, it's very cozy. The good thing about that is that we were warmer last night than the night before. Today is more about just, you know, trying to stock up on water, re-energise a little bit for tomorrow. We're going to try and trek quite early when the first light breaks, and then try and find that river, and then potentially we might move that shelter down to there and rebuild shelter there, knowing that if we've got a food source and a fresh water, then we can potentially get that. It's a shame that we couldn't get the fire going yesterday, because I think that would have boosted morale a little bit. But in terms of now, it's just about, you know, keeping a positive mental attitude and, you know, ploughing on, which is what we plan to do. It's very cold, very cold. Not much protection from the rain, to be fair.
Fair bit, to be honest. I can't say it's not much.
I'm not getting fuck all.
I'm getting wet on me.
I'm getting completely wet, soaked here. Ben seems to be a bit drier.
James, you've got to focus the camera so yeah, face someone. There you go, keep going.
It might be because we focused more on his side when redoing the shower, which which means that my side getting a bit wetter. But hey ho, life goes on. Plus the rain only sticks around for about 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will subside soon, and then we can crack on and go to sleep. But for now, we just have to grin and bear it.
It's handy just because the rain kind of puts the mosquitoes away and the bugs away for a bit, so it's pretty. I don't think it's not too bad.
All swings and roundabouts.
We've sealed up the door slightly. I say sealed up, 50%, maybe 20%, even that. But it's better than nothing, and it's keeping. I feel like the heat staying inside here rather than escaping. So that should bode well for tonight once it stops raining. Stick it in your bag, and we want to get going as soon as we can.
Basically, I'm not going to show you all this, but we decided to trek out from this, essentially our second camp of this part of the trip, third in total. So we wanted to trek out to hopefully find a place closer to the river, because obviously, you know, where the water is, that is where, you know, more resources are. So first off, you got the water, then you got like the fish, and then there's also going to be more life, maybe mammals, lizards around that water, because we did find a lizard near the water on the first day, which I ate. I'm not going to bore you with this, I'll put it in super speed, just sorry if it gives you nausea, but it was a long trek. We had no idea where we were going. Like we need to try to kind of stick to right hand side, because that would be where the river is, but it was so hard to kind of go find an opening to get down to the river, because, you know, the jungle's steep, it's thick. We were kind of like, you know, with the river, it's a valley essentially, so getting down safely. And also, you know, you can't just like, you know, be in a bush. You need to find a place where it's going to be flat enough where you can set camp, because if it's not flat, you're going to end up just rolling down the river, being unstable.
So we found some more water here. Not that we need it because we're already kind of full can. So we're going to pass it by and kind of figure out our next route. Kind of doing this still with like no real food in our stomach. Just lizards and insects at the moment. And those berries from the other day. On the doctor's orders, I'm keeping my hand dry. Even though it's not really helping, I've looked inside it and it doesn't look too good, it looks a bit moist, but
So
I'm sticking away from getting to that water.
So I'm going to head down there, fill up this. I went down there about 5 minutes ago, tested the water. It tastes alright, to be fair. If anything, I think it's some of the clearest water that we've actually come across. Yeah, and then hopefully we can just filter this later. So I'm going to head down there, crack on.
Hardest part is getting up when you're sitting down.
I'm going to carry on trekking now. We don't believe that we've got too much left to go. The water's a great sign that we should be getting closer to the river. As you can tell, I'm almost red raw on the shoulders, which is not good, especially when you're carrying a heavy backpack like mine. But yeah, I suppose the quicker we get to a site where we can set up another shelter, the quicker I can take this backpack off.
Because I don't want to go down that way and then having to come back up because it's too steep. There's will be some flat lands at some point. I am near I could pass. If I was in England, I could probably pass out, because I'm out here, I'm not passing out. But I am feeling weak, so I'm going to smash some water and see if that makes you better. But damn, I've got nothing. I'm not burning. I've got nothing to burn. Wow. A massive ant's nest. So I need to get up right now. No? It shouldn't be too far. Take your camera and scout ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm way too close to passing out. Way too close.
Yeah. Is there anything you want me to do? Otherwise.
Just scout ahead and see what the difference is.
Yeah. Then lose you.
Mm. Have you got the time on your camera? Yeah, in the time and date settings, you'd have the time. A half hour. If you can't see anything good in a half hour, we've got to turn back and make shelter. You know what? I think we should. You know what? Let's both do it. Let's both do it.
No man, don't exhaust your energy.
No, we need to. Oh, look a bit in. Just both do it. It can't be too much further. Oh, energy levels are absolutely low. But we've been running on our last 10% for the past 4 days. Is that we should go back to where we found this water and make a shelter under the big logs. At the end of the day, this water is very, very dirty. It's like full on brown. So we just got to think, you know, we can't continue going on an idea that's not working. You know? So it's raining and we don't have any shelter. We're screwed. Let's just travel as fast as we can, I guess. Looking at the skies, it might just be a little shower for now. Started walking head faster than James on the way back. He was complaining about his feet hurting, but you know, he's got 2 pairs of socks on and I've barely got some duct tape on, and he's had those socks on for most of the day. So I decided to wait, let him pass me. I want to go catch him up. Hopefully him being ahead will, you know, motivate him to kind of keep on walking fast so he feels good. But yeah, I want to kind of make a move now and see if we can get to a shelter, because if we don't get there before it starts raining heavily, that's a big issue. That's going to be a massive issue before it gets dark. You know, we need to be there as quick as we can. So unfortunately, in our trek to get back to our shelter, we've actually come down way too far, overcooked our distance, and we've ended up at our one of our first shelters. It doesn't look too good. It needs a lot of work and it's very muddy, so we have to just crack on. We're at our old shelter and it's been chucking it down for so long. We're both completely soaked. Beyond belief, it hasn't stopped raining at all. We've been shivering a lot. We're trying to kind of conserve body heat. I've been trying to avoid shivering just to not waste the calories. Yeah, it's been pretty hellish. Oh yeah. James, how about you, mate? How have you felt?
Wet.
Very wet?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm soaked through. Yeah, we came out to the shelter last night. We're lucky to have found it, even though it was kind of further than we would have wanted, because we wanted to get to our other shelter. It was one of the worst nights we've had here in this whole kind of time, because it was pouring down, and it was kind of seeping through the whole time. As you see, it's very muddy and wasn't really usable that much, but we managed to survive the night. We didn't get hypothermia. If we didn't have a shelter, we would have got hypothermia pretty much without doubt if it didn't happen. I kind of messed up yesterday by just walking too far to find the river, so we're going to settle back down at our other location where we've got running water, and that's quite key, and hopefully just explore around that way.
Right, so here we are, woken up after the hard night last night. Rained torrentously, very cold, didn't get much sleep. As you can see, not much of a shelter left, very waterlogged. Quite happy we're not staying here again tonight, aren't we, Dan?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we would be able to survive any more nights in this kind of shelter. So we've got up. We now need to sort of trek back a little bit from what we were doing yesterday, as we overcooked it, missed our turning, hence the reason why we ended up here. So we're going to do that now. It's going to take us a good hour, I think, to get back to shelter, and then once we're there we can really think about making that our home for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, let's crack on.
So I'm just getting back to camp where we think we're going to stay for a while now. My energy levels are terribly low. I've got nothing left to give at the moment, but I'll still keep going. Just need to just hydrate and relax out the sun. We've been walking for a good maybe 2 to 3 hours, and the humidity's high, and so is the sun's so hot and high in the sky. My hand is hurting like hell at the moment as well, so that's not really helping my situation. I'm going to open it up today and clean it again and re-bandage it. I think it could be infected. I'm not sure, but I think it looks infected from what I can see. So
we made it.
So get some water.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
we've just spent the morning trekking from our first shelter back to our second shelter. We finally made it in the blistering heat.
As you can see, I'm washing my hand, trying to clean it. Every day it seems to be decaying as it smells worse and worse. And it's not really healing out there because I'm not getting any calories or nutrients in. So it's not giving it the right tools to actually heal. I'll speed this up because Premiere Pro has, for some reason, deleted the audio and I can't get it back.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we're going to open up my hand. It's stinging all the time pretty much. From what I've seen inside, I believe I've seen a stitch that's come loose. Quite one of the biggest stitches, which is quite important because that's where like the biggest kind of width of the cut is. Just going to open it up and see what I see. This isn't the sharpest, but I'll do it for now, hopefully. These scissors, I want to just tear it off piece by piece. You can change angles as well, you can like move around. You get like close angles, a few zoom ins to bring it in close. You can see it's damp. It's like though when you've been in a bath for too long and your skin goes very wrinkly. It kind of enables you to give you more grip essentially. I think from an evolutionary standpoint, my hand's already like that. This means it's a breeding ground for bacteria. Which is not what we want. I've been taking antibiotics given to me by the hospital.
All depends on how strong those antibiotics are.
Yeah, but those antibiotics will only work if you kind of keep your hand clean anyway, essentially. There we go, so off. There we go, you see that? Get this tape off. I don't feel too confident, look at that.
No.
It's damp, that's been damp for a long time.
Yeah.
So it looks like so far. My hand is stinging. I think I had there, you can see in the creases.
Yeah.
Like it's just a deep kind of, it was almost like a bed sore when you.
Yeah.
I put some super glue over it to make a seal. I was going to just see if I can slightly tear that off without kind of damaging anything. So it's not good if your hand's this weak to have this amount of dampness. Look at that, it's just so damp. It's unbelievably damp, it's very sore.
Yep.
There you go, fresh scrub.
Quite small, isn't it?
Does have it. Okay, just face it. Are they?
Yeah.
Could be a few calories. Going straight in. There'll be a bit of a bite on it, to be honest. But we'll see. There we go. Doesn't taste amazing.
No.
Taste
Better than the worm yesterday?
It's a bit putrid, but okay, let's get going. My energy levels are so low. My body fat's probably at like 11, 10%. Once you get around to that level, your body finds it harder and harder to burn fat.
as it really needs to keep it, so it kind of slow you down and not let you kind of do anything. So so James does have a much higher body percent. He's a fat, his probably body percentage is probably around 30, 35, 40 even. So he's giving him a lot more reserves to work off now. Warm air in. The more layers the better. That's what kind of your mum teaches you. So I'm just outside still. Love the feeling of being outside right now because it's nice and breezy. Trees are blowing and you know a storm's coming. Just seeing, we've heard thunder for the past probably hour or so. You can see.
Back here again.
The storm.
Paradise.
It's really starting now.
Waiting for the rain to come. Yeah, and then got put up with another night of hell of very little sleep and 12 hours in the pitch darkness.
Come on. Want to start?
Dan's currently outside.
Come on! Is this all you got?
Trying to cheer the storm in or something, so to speak.
Sweet. Close it up. Keep recording the door.
Very cold. Not much protection from the rain, to be fair.
Fair bit, to be honest.
I'm not getting off. I'm getting fuck all, mate.
I'm getting wet on me.
I'm getting completely wet, soaked here. Dan seems to be a bit drier.
James, you've got to focus the camera so yeah, facing someone. There you go, keep going.
It might be because we focused more on his side when redoing the shower, which means that my side's getting a bit wetter. But hey ho, life goes on. Plus the rain only sticks around for about 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will subside soon, and then we can crack on and go to sleep. But for now, we just have to grin and bear it.
It's handy just because the rain kind of puts the mosquitoes away and the bugs away for a bit, so it's pretty. I don't think it's not too bad.
All swings and roundabouts.
We've sealed up the door slightly. I say sealed up, 50%, maybe 20%, even that. But it's better than nothing, and it's keeping. I feel like the heat staying inside here rather than escaping. So that should bode well for tonight once it stops raining.
Where should we go? Start, mate. Where are we going?
Go on there now. Get out.
What if we laid this over the top?
I just left the shirt because it's way too bug infested in there and cannot sleep. You're getting bitten all over. It's horrible. Sharp pains biting. It's not nice. It's absolutely painful. It's itching all over. It's nicer. It's been raining for how long you say? About an hour? Yeah. So you're kind of getting through our shelter, kind of drifting through. How are you feeling?
Cold.
Cold.
Very cold.
Yeah, so yeah, James is feeling the effects of not just the weather, the coldness, the wetness, obviously put together can lead to hypothermia. So it's got the kind of the emergency blanket on. It's hard to keep him warm. How's it working?
It's keeping me a bit warmer.
Yeah.
But obviously with the rain still coming in, sort of levels itself out, but it's protecting me from the rain from getting any colder.
Yeah.
Which is the best thing.
It could be easily another few hours of rain in. So if nothing else to do, I'm going to try to get some sleep. Going to try to get some sleep as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet, perfect. I'll just to sleep on natural. So when we can be ready to make a move. That's how you not sleep. You taking a piss?
Yeah. Why?
Just wondering.
Right, come on then, Dan.
Let's go. Alright. Did you get bitten bad last?
Okay, give a look, because it's not going to be safe carrying this around on the stream, is it?
Yeah, so we're walking down the stream bed, kind of macheting through what we can. It's starting to open up a bit, letting more light in, which is a good omen. It would suggest we're getting closer to the river, but it's easy that it's just maybe just a temporary blip of good light. Looks like the other side of the river, potentially. It seems to go up as this goes down, so it should be quite nearby. And obviously the nearer we are, the better for us. If we are close indeed, we'll see how steep it is for us. Yeah, as you can see, well, I'll show you in a second, it's getting very deep, which means we can't really take these cameras. These are kind of quite expensive cameras with us, so they are quite fragile. You see how deep it's going to start getting in a minute.
Goes.
Look at the size of the river.
Just made it down to the river. Great result. Looks like we might be able to catch fish. So tomorrow we're going to come back down here with the net, potentially try and find some food source, which is what we're in need of. In terms of the rest of today, our energy is really low. We're going to go back, rehydrate, then crack on with the shelter. Really, we're going to try and take it back a few steps to then rebuild it. Trying to make it as waterproof as possible, because if we can get that right, then I think this whole challenge is going to fall into place and, you know, become a hell of a lot easier on the both of us.
At this point we decided to trek back to our shelter. We achieved what we needed to achieve by finding the river. We know where it is, and then we're going to plan to go fishing the next day. Unfortunately, it does take quite a few calories just to get there and get back. We hadn't eaten in so many days, so we were very drained by the walk, and it is quite slippery. We got back and then get prepared for another day. So after last night, where the shelter wasn't too good, it let rain in a bit too easily. Unfortunately, it is monsoon season, and most shelters aren't made to survive monsoon season, so we are going to have to rebuild it. So we're going to have to kind of almost start from scratch. James, do you want to take it away?
This is what we're going to do, is we're going to pile off all the leaves. Obviously they're good to use again. What we want to do is get the bigger leaves over into our pile that's over there in the corner, so that what we're going to do is use some of these trees that you can see that are a lot straighter and actually line them up against our main A-frame.
Yeah. Yeah, we use trees that are a bit in a distance because we don't want to lose our canopy, because that still does help protect us from some rain.
And we don't have a lot of canopy, to be fair.
Yeah.
So use the trees in the distance, start cutting things down to size, put the bigger leaves on next, and then we can put the rest of the leaves on after that.
Sweet. So it's getting a bit into the evening.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of work to do.
It's getting into the evening, so we've got a lot of work to do now. So we're gonna have to crack on immediately. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have time to kind of redo the shelter completely. It's getting late, and I feel like it's better just to grim and bear and just make some slight improvements rather than kind of go from scratch, because that's gonna, you know, put us in the hurt locker.
I think it's gonna be a tomorrow job. Energy seems to be coming in waves for me.
Do you need any more?
1 minute I can have all the energy, and then the next minute I'm really low. that's mainly down to the lack of food. I think since we sort of begun this, pretty much just lived on, you know, less than about 100 calories, which is pretty shocking. And then we had an idea the other day to try and trek out and try and find this river, which wasn't our brightest idea. We think it was a lot further, and the flatland was a lot further than what we anticipated. So we burnt a lot of calories. I mean, a lot of calories. And then when we trekked back the same day, just because it had started to rain, we ended up trekking way too far back to the first shelter, which wasn't the worst thing in the world because we had shelter for the night. Wasn't the best shelter, I must admit. It rained torrentously. It sort of became a wet, sort of gloopy mess with inside. But we got up the next day, trekked back to our second shelter because we both decided that, you know, this is where we're going to set up camp. We're going to try and meander down the river, down the stream, to find the river. That trek back was very difficult. Dan, bless him, I thought was going to pass out at various different points, but as a trooper, he powered on and got there in the end. My feet were killing me, sunburnt as hell on the shoulders, you know, so not having any clothes and not having any sun cream, bad idea. But you know, we're out here to survive, so can't have those kind of things, not those kind of luxuries, and you sort of start to realise that you take those kind of things for granted. But we got back here. Last night was most probably the worst night we had in terms of rain. It rained pretty much non-stop all night, which doesn't really do out here. We sort of thought we knew the pattern of the rain, which was, you know, by 7 o'clock it would start to rain, a couple of hours, then it would stop, and then for the rest of the night it would be alright. But last night changed all that, and it just rained non-stop, so it meant we had to sort of, to get any kind of sleep, we had to sleep in for a while today. And then we woke up and our main mission was to get to this river, so we meandered downstream, and it went alright, to be fair. The river's not actually as far as we thought it was. The trek wasn't as difficult. It does look like there could be potential for life inside the river, unlike the forest, because there's been fuck all here, to be fair. So our next mission is to sort of try and do some fishing, because if we can do that, then we can eat, and we're in desperate need of that. We were going to come back and try and crack on with the shelter, but time has sort of got away from us, so we've tried to make as many amendments to it as possible, to sort of try and cover in the gaps, so that when it does rain tonight, that's not an issue. Yeah, and I'm feeling a little bit more pumped up than yesterday. I think my energy got so low yesterday that I was ready to just throw in the towel. Today, with finding the river, boosted my confidence, boosted my morale big time. And I can see that in Dan as well. Like, Dan from yesterday to today, different man completely. Especially in terms of, you know, just wanting to crack on and get things done now. And you know, I think the trek literally took everything out of him. So yeah, it's exciting times. Like I think we can plow down and, you know, carry on until the end. Problem is just hunger. Any given moment, you know, we're thinking about food, we're talking about food, like what can we eat when we get out, you know, how much we'd like to dig into a nice juicy burger, a steak, chicken, all the things that, you know, even the little foods that, you know, that I wouldn't even eat normally, like, you know, veg. Like, I'm missing veg. You know, I can't wait to go home and just eat some spinach, some sweet corn, stuff like that. You know, food is constantly on our mind, like constantly. What we'd do for some food right now, to be fair, and to tucked up, nice shower in bed, but hey, that's not the situation we're in. But last off, it's November the 7th, so I've got to give a big shout out to my sister. It's her birthday today, so I do apologise I can't be there with her to celebrate it, but I know she's celebrating in style, as she always does. So yeah, much love to her, hope she's having a wicked time, and I can't wait to see her when I get back. Peace.
Looked at my hand, it's not too good. Got most of the glue off it. It's not really sealing properly. I can see still massive gaps inside it, but I'm gonna go with it for now. Hopefully it doesn't get much worse, but yeah, I'm just gonna get it done. I was gonna seal it up. Well, I'm gonna seal it up. I was gonna clean it up with some wipes and then put another bandage over it and just make it do. It's not, sometimes my hands not looking too good and it still just hurt. But you know, I'll have to deal with that kind of pain anyway. My hands are so dirty, just like you're kind of just already infecting your hands whilst you're even doing it, to be honest. Walk around and get different angles if you want as well. Like the other side, walk around the other side. Okay.
It's not picking up focus as well as it normally would, but that might be
because it's not right. It's getting bitten by a bug there. There you go, all done and kind of ready to go. It's kind of very lightly banded, but that's what we kind of have to deal with out here. Only got so many resources at hand. That's it.
So after a long night last night, and it being very cold, got up this morning, thought it was okay, but as the sun's coming up, the body temperature's just not sorting itself out. I'm feeling quite cold. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do some exercises, try and pump the circulation around my body to try and, you know, warm up my blood, warm up my body, you know, because otherwise it's not looking good. You know, could be the early signs of hypothermia. Touch wood, it's not.
Yeah, you have been kind of cold. Right now I'm pretty warm,
yeah.
Personally. Well, I'm at a decent temperature, that's fine. Obviously I'm naked at a decent temperature, but obviously you're kind of finding it quite difficult.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do some exercises.
Yeah.
You know, I'm feeling quite cold now, to be fair.
Yeah. Then jump on.
Just with that little bit of wind. So I'm feeling quite a lot of problems with
Be careful about the calories you're using.
Yeah. So I've got
you could alternative potentially just stand out in the sun. Does that help?
No.
No.
No, because I've just tried that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know.
You sure you don't want to like save the calories for doing something like actively to help survival?
I'm just going to do a few jumping jacks. You know, a little bit, not stuff that, you know, takes up too much calories.
Yeah. At the moment I'm warm.
I'm cold.
You're literally cold?
Yeah.
That's quite weird.
Like my shoulder can be warm, yeah? But
yeah.
The inside of my body is cold.
That could be a big problem, by the way.
I felt alright, but I still feel like I can still feel proper chill in me.
Yeah. It's probably sort of time on the camera. It's about like 1:30. So I've really entered into the warmest part of the day. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's just cold, man. I, 'cause 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 I'm gonna go down and try and get some water now.
Yeah.
Hopefully that might sort myself out. I don't know.
How cold is it? Like a bad cold, like?
Like, let's say 5 was normal. Like, let's say it's like 10. Like 0, 1's freezing. Yeah.
Yeah.
10s were absolute sweltering. 5s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm about like 3.5, man.
Like a few days ago, you're having doubts, especially when you're having doubts when it was raining. And we're in our shelter. That's one of the hardest points, I think. Each time when it's like at night, cold, wet, that's when I think it's the toughest. You're having doubts about how long, like the longevity you could really be doing this for.
Yeah.
How's that? Tell me how you felt then.
Then I felt really down, man.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like the rain was never ending.
Yeah. It's one of the longest rains we've had.
Yeah.
The rain's the hardest part, but you know, as you said, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like having purposeful short-term memory or resilience in a sense that, you know, the days aren't too bad. We're hungry, very low energy. It can be hot, it can hurt. But if you get through the day, you get into the night, it starts raining. That's mostly our lowest point, because that's when it's absolutely miserable. It is cold. You can easily get hypothermia out here.
Yeah.
But as we know, once it starts raining and we're in our shelter, we can't exactly leave.
Man, like, it's, you know, the lack of constant sleep, you know, the always being cold. It is so from one end of the spectrum to the other. Throughout the day you're hot,
Oh yeah.
and then at night you're so cold at some points, like so cold, and you know, it's,
You're shivering as well. Like, we shiver at night because of the rain would drop your body temperature down so quickly, and also you can't sleep when you're getting dripped on. You get like taps of water in your head, like tap, drop, and it's absolute torture. It might as well be the day after the injury. That's how bad it looks. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this situation on my hand?
Having seen it now, I think it's not looking great. You can still see the wound big time.
Yeah.
Now that the super glue's gone. But I know you as a character. As you were saying yesterday, if that was me, you would have told me to. You would have got me out of here.
Oh, definitely. I would definitely take you pretty much straight out of here if that was your hand. But it's kind of different when it's your own hand. You kind of have that.
And I've tried to tell you that I think it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
But in a way, you're your own person and you're not really.
Yeah.
Do I need to be a little bit more assertive with you? I've tried.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what else I can do to try and convince you to say, you know, your hand's not looking great, Dan.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've always been a determined individual.
Yeah.
So, for me to try and convince you otherwise, there will be a time when it will just snap and you'll be like, right, it's time to go.
Yeah, if this hasn't, let's say this hasn't healed in, like, remember what we said last night, if this hasn't healed in 4 days time, if it hasn't seen progress in 4 days time, what's your thoughts and what would you do?
I would go.
Yeah.
My personal thoughts, I would go now, but if you can get to 4 days time, you know, and it hasn't healed,
Yeah.
I would leave at that point. You know, try and get home most probably, to try and get the best medical advice we can get.
Yeah.
And for it to be in an environment that your body is naturally used to.
Yeah.
To then get it to recover, and then you've got a bit of time before you obviously need to go back to work and stuff like that. And for your body to take in calories, take in nutrients, vitamins, to then recover, man. Because at the moment,
it's the nutrients,
your body,
vitamins, isn't it?
your body, as tough as it may be, is very fragile.
Exactly. It's at its weakest. It's going to be at its weakest it's ever been. Other than, let's say, when you're sick.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously when it's super weak. But it's at its weakest it's ever been.
Yeah. Because, you know,
I've seen a lot of days without food.
Your body's not recovering from it.
I'd imagine it's not far off that. I've never smelt it or decaying.
That's what I thought yesterday.
If you want to give it a smell,
I smelled it yesterday.
give it a smell. It smells like rotting flesh, if anything. Like, I've never smelt it, but, you know, it's not good. But, you know, that's the thing. We don't have anyone to kind of tell us, you know. I don't know the consequences of being out here longer. I can still move my hands, but, like, my kind of like appendages, my fingers. But, you know, I don't have the knowledge to know what risks are involved by staying out here longer, and then going home in like whatever amount of days, or leaving now. What's the difference from then and now? Because we don't have that kind of medical advice. We don't have that knowledge. There's no way to know. We don't have any internet connection. Yes, I've got a few concerns about James. I feel like he hasn't been learning enough. Of course, the situation for the backstory is that I planned probably 95% of this trip. Told us where to go. Told him how to learn about survival. About 95% of it, he came in quite late into it. I organised it all mostly, pretty much, other than maybe the flights he helped with. I did pretty much 95% of it or so. And he seems like he might be getting too comfortable in himself. Because what can be done, for example, with fishing. The things you can probably fish, you know, my idea would be to use a mosquito net and make a, I think it's called Cien or Sen, fishing. I think like he's getting too comfortable with himself. What I'll do with fishing would be to get a kind of, he seems to be getting way too comfortable with himself. What I'll do with fishing is make a kind of a fishing Sen, I think it's S-E-N-N-E or Cien type situation with the mosquito net. But yeah, he's getting a bit too kind of complacent with where he is. We can do a lot more, but yeah, hopefully he learns the skills soon, essentially. Because at the moment, a lot of the kind of tactics, a lot of the skills, and a lot of the ideas are coming from my way, just in terms of like what we should do and how to do it, just because I've just had more time researching this kind of stuff. I never know. You do kind of notice as well. Obviously, when you're in, you know, when you're in shoes in a normal place, you walk with using your heel first, and then you put your toes down. But obviously, that's only because you know, in modern days, the heel, having shoes, having a nice heel means that you can kind of like put a lot of force into your heel and it doesn't do damage. I've got a cut on my foot. If you want to see that. Kind of like a dig that kind of looks quite nasty. That kind of happened days and days ago, maybe 5 days ago even. It's been getting worse and worse. It's hard to walk on. We're walking on my tiptoes instead. I tried washing off some of the dirt. But like it still looks nasty, so I'm gonna have to try and clean it out and see what I can find out of it. Okay, let's give it a bit of an antiseptic wipe so I can see what the issue is, because it's too dirty at the moment to have to get like a good look at it. Just try to get inside it a bit. And you're starting to see a bit of flesh underneath, but still very dirty. There we go. Starting to see some flesh. That stung. Oh. Touched the kind of pricked the very fleshy part of it. Get a better look at it. Yeah. There it is. That's what better for me, yeah. The problem with obviously being in the rainforest of this, the floor's so wet and it's so dirty, it's going to be full of bacteria. Just have to go for an itch sometimes, my body's itching all the bug bites. Right there, a dying worm. Let's put it out of its misery. So breakfast better than nothing. I saw another part of a worm. Oh, there's another one there. Little worm to eat. There you go.
Any more?
I'll have a quick look in a sec. There you go, fresh grub.
I think it's quite small, isn't it?
So I'll just have it.
Yeah.
Okay, just face it. Ready?
Yeah.
Could be a few calories. Going straight in. Got a bit of a bite on it, to be honest. But we'll see. There we go. Doesn't taste amazing.
No.
Taste
Better than the worm yesterday?
that's a bit putrid, but okay, let's get going. Decent brunch, first meal of the day, so we've come more for like a lunch wise, but
Yep.
pretty decent, yeah?
It's alright.
Can't complain.
About 5 o'clock.
And we've come back into our shelter because it's raining outside. We're going to kind of try to stay dry.
Yep.
It looks like the leaves we put on last night have really made a good effect. Keeping us dry, the big leaves keeping us really, well, there's some water coming in, but it's not too bad. It wasn't a heavy shower either, but we've managed to get through it.
Mainly on my feet, the water's
Yeah.
coming through, so we know that if this rain stops, then we can make a few more amendments
Second.
before the night comes in.
You can see, I don't know, you might be able to see, but some water coming in there.
I think if there was a way out now, I would most probably take it. I'm very cold, very wet, very hungry, I'm very tired. All of them, the mixture, I think are pushing me right to my limits.
Well, so if there's a way to kind of quit at this moment, if there's like a viable opportunity to get out of here to safety, what would you do?
I would, yeah, most probably take that, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's no way out until the morning, and you know that would be a different conversation, I think. The project for my health,
Yeah.
I might have to bail out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So one more night, I guess, and see how you feel.
I still feel bad tomorrow then.
We are running out of kind of big leaves to go for, so we're going to have to go for some smaller leaves for now. So at this point, a lot of our day was occupied with the shelter. At the end of the day, you do spend the whole night inside it, so it does affect you the most, and it is the most easily amended. You know, you can't necessarily easily find food, and we already had water. Like the shelter, it was a lot of just like improving the shelter as much as we can every day, packing it with as many big leaves as possible, because we knew that it's going to pay dividends for us of that later that night, so you can really kind of see the effects. Yeah, so it is a bit boring, but yeah, we're just literally just putting on as many leaves as we can. Fun. It worked.
That's the first bit of life I've seen around here.
That would have been some good food as well. That would have been some good food.
Yeah, definitely.
Whoa. I've blacking out. I'm blacking it out. There we go. Okay, it's come back, it's come back, it's come back. That's the worst blackout yet. That's the worst blackout yet.
Really?
I felt that on my whole body.
Oh mate, that's not good.
See like black hexagons or it's like they're like a black honeycomb.
Yeah.
Whole vision went. It goes in from the outside to the inside, leaves a little oval, and it closes off, and it kind of fades away.
Mate, that's not good.
Whoa. I was using the machete, and my energy was so low, I was barely cutting through it, so I had to just take it off in my hands.
Oh mate.
Just gonna grab the rest of the leaves I've got there, then I'm not doing any more leaves. I can't give any more. It's gonna start raining soon as well.
My side's looking a bit better, isn't it now?
Cool, nice. Okay, so just gonna eat this cricket. Hopefully it's got a nice crunch, so my energy levels are low.
Hold it in the palm of your hand.
My energy levels are super low now. Spending a bit of energy cutting down the leaves for the shelter, so I was going to eat this cricket right here. Bon appetit. Very crunchy.
Tastes good though?
Ugh. Tastes like cricket. That's cricket.
That's cricket.
And just like that, it starts storming down, so into the shelter we go. Yesterday, you were kind of facing issues with like what could have been, for all we know, early onset hypothermia.
Yep.
You're super cold, even during the day.
Yep.
When it was sunny, when you was out in the sun,
Yep.
you'd have these cold waves come over you.
Yep.
How do you feel differently today? It's a new day.
I'm feeling more positive today actually. You know, last night didn't rain as much. Wearing a black bag to sort of trap in some body heat, that helped massively. So that might have to, if it gets too cold, might have to be a thing that I start using. And you know, I had a decent night's sleep. I wasn't in you know, puddles of water, which was keeping me, you know, forever cold.
So obviously, water drops your temperature so quickly.
I'm yet to have a bowel movement. James is a 2, I'm a 0 at the moment. Kind of shows how little is being ate, which is pretty much 0. Other than some kind of insects, I ate a lizard, I've had a cricket, I've had a few worms, a few ants as well, a few bugs. And a few berries, but it's not really enough to kind of make a bowel movement, so I'm kind of concerned that I probably might go this whole journey without it. At the moment, we've got kind of two things in the wild. We've got thriving or surviving. At the moment we're just surviving, which isn't the best. That just means we're eating hand to mouth, we're not getting enough calories in. This isn't too good. Hopefully when we start fishing, hopefully we catch enough fish to kind of change that. We're going to start tomorrow. But with kind of the rain, it's becoming more unpredictable, so it's now raining during the day as well, which is making it difficult to be outside, because it kind of drops your body temperature, gets you wet. I'm under concern. In terms of this whole experience, my idea was to do it with as few kind of survival tools as possible. I feel like James might be taking the kind of easy way out at the moment, using like a black bin bag to, you know, stay warm at night. When we were travelling to the destination naked, he put his socks on, and he put my socks on as well. And that, I don't know, I feel like that's not too much survival. He could have fixed that issue with duct tape on his feet like I did, but he chose not to. So yeah, I guess we kind of see what pans out, because you want to have like a tough experience, you don't want to make it too easy on yourself. Doing stuff like that makes it a bit too easy, but you know, each to their own. I guess we both have different ideas about this project, essentially. I want more of a raw survival. I guess he would use any equipment to kind of do that, but I guess we'll see how that pans. Sleeping in the shelter is a lot easier now. We've got plenty of leaves on there, so that, you know, there are still drips coming through and it does still get wet, but we're not getting soaked. It's a lot nicer. But yeah, I look forward to getting home after some of my days. We've been in Malaysia for almost 2 weeks now. So another week and a few days, and we've been in Malaysia for about 2 weeks now. So another week and a few days, and we will be back home eating full meals, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, it's all going well. The blackouts are getting worse. The way to describe how the blackouts work for me, at least, is that it kind of visionettes. It starts with visionetting, and it kind of, the blackness fades in until there's a tiny circle to see through, and then that goes, and it kind of goes away. But this, one of my latest ones, it actually hurt my head. That's the first time I felt pain, like actual real pain from a blackout. This doesn't bode too well. But yeah, keep doing it. My scar is not going to heal whilst I'm out here. I've accepted that. I'll have to see a doctor when I get back to England. But other than that, you know, I'm still doing fine. You know, the hunger doesn't affect me that much. It's the low energy that affects me. Like, I don't, as much as I want food, I'm not feeling like, I need some food, like you would in England. Or maybe that's because that food's so accessible in England that, like, when you don't have it, you're like, well, it kind of hurts, I kind of need it. But out here, we know food's not really much of an option at the moment, because we haven't seen that many. We haven't seen many creatures, kind of like mammals or reptiles, to eat, to be honest. We haven't seen any. Well, I've had one lizard myself. James saw a large lizard the other day. I saw a monitor lizard back at our first location. This is coming almost 2 weeks ago. But yeah, keep going well, doing fine. Low energy is bad. I'm getting a bit too skinny, which means that my body's having difficulty burning in my remaining fat, because it is kind of trying to hold onto it, because, you know, you do need fat to survive. Yeah, I think that's it for now. But yeah, no, I do think James, one of the key things that he's able to do is a great motivator. Having 2 people out here is a lot. I think it's probably a lot better than having one, because one person will, kind of having 2 people means you're kind of more motivated. You've got someone else to kind of like keep each other motivated and kind of keep each other strong. When you've got one person, you're kind of by yourself, and it's probably easier to give up. But yeah, 2 people helps you keep motivated and keeps you going quite hard. That's it. Also, yeah, I can tell how bad this lack of nutrition, lack of food is affecting me. It's like my knee injury, which I sustained in the first location by falling part way down, very, very short ravine, maybe 8 feet, 7, 8 feet, I'm not really sure. Well, I didn't fall the whole way, but my knee kind of stayed on the surface. It's not healing.
We'll try to make ourselves a improvised fishing net using this. We know where the river is. We've been kind of delayed going back there for quite a few days now. So maybe been, what, 3 days, James?
Yep.
Because energy's been low. I'm kind of like also kind of hoping for my hand to heal a bit more, because once water gets to it, it kind of starts the healing process all over again. But we're going to crack on and see what we can make. At the moment, my energy levels are super low. I'm blacking out most times I'm standing up, pretty much. My last blackout actually hurt for the first time. Find a corner, so there's a mosquito net. I've got 4 corners. I want to try to find my way up. I've been hit by some afternoon rain, so I decided to come back in to shelter. To keep all that gear dry, all that camera equipment dry, all that batteries dry. And we'll kind of have to, hopefully, if it does clear up, we'll be able to kind of continue doing our planning for fishing tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know, with the little energy we have, we kind of need to just stay warm.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, being cold, that will exhaust too much energy that too much energy that we don't really have at the moment. So, you know, the best thing for us is to just stay here until it all tides over. To be fair. And there's James. Moynihan, 25, you know, was working ordinary job 9 to 5 before I decided to come and do this with Dan. I wanted to test my body really. One of the one of the main motivations is I was getting bored of my current situation. You know, I wanted to take myself really so far out of my comfort zone, which this has done, to then test myself to, you know, say, can I do it? Have I got the perseverance? Have I got the, you know, drive, the ambition, you know, to survive? Yeah, and you know, you see this kind of stuff on TV, and you think, nah, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to do what they're doing. But you know, I think everyone naturally inside them has the survival instincts and has the survival ability. It's just about, you know, unlocking that, you know, honing in them skills, learning, you know, from each day to day on, you know, how you can do better, you know, what needs to be done differently, you know, and these are real skills that you can take into the real world once we finish this. And it, you know, it's about, I like to challenge myself. I like the feeling of, you know, pushing my body to sort of the absolute limit, and then when you've finished, you know, that sense of accomplishment, you know, that's a bit of a drug to me, you know. That's why I like to set myself these sort of different challenges every now and again, and they seem to be getting bigger and bigger as I do these. So,
What were your other challenges?
you know, like I've done like an ultra marathon. You know, I've done like 3 Peaks challenge. I've done sort of small sort of challenges that, you know, people do, but this seems to be the biggest one that's taken me out of my comfort zone. You know, test my body to different limits. You know, not only physically, mentally. You know, there's a lot of time out here that, you know, plays on your mind. But God only knows like what the next one's going to be, because how do you top this? You know, I suppose it's only going to get bigger. But then I would have taken everything that I've, you know, I was a novice to this when I came out. You know, I would take everything that I've learned here into the next one, and, you know, make that a success as well.
What do you want to do next?
I don't know, like, you know, there's a few ideas floating around. I'd like to do the sort of, Dan was sort of before has spoken about like an island thing, you know, living on a deserted island. Wouldn't mind trying something like that, you know, but for a bit longer of a period of time. Something where, you know, hunting can come into play. Maybe not something with so much rain, so maybe a different part of the country. Either that or just test myself like physically. So, you know, I don't know, maybe a cycle challenge, something along those kind of lines, a walking challenge. I don't know really. I'd like to get this one over and done with first, to then, you know, think about that.
I like to kind of set myself like achievable kind of targets. Sometimes the targets are actually almost unachievable, but I like to set myself targets to have something to work towards, rather than just like the normal kind of house kind of situation, a certain job that other people do have. One of the key motivations for like this certain project is just I wanted to do something quite cool. I've been planning to kind of go to a desert island for the past, it could be almost 2 years now. I can't remember how long. It's probably about 20 months potentially, and that takes quite a long time to plan. So this is kind of something which is in the intermission at the moment, just to kind of do before I go out there in the future, hopefully. But yeah, I wanted to choose like a kind of a wet, kind of rainforest type environment, so that's kind of similar to a desert island. I've already been to the Sahara Desert, so you know this is a nice other kind of variant, which is kind of meets in the middle. If you kind of combine the two, you kind of get yourself a desert island essentially.
So how are you finding this? Is this a struggle compared to the other 2 challenges you've done? Or
yeah, I'm finding the main thing about this, originally in the first few days, the main problem was having the amount of weight that you're carrying, because you know, with 2 people, we were like alone with just 2 people, and we've got all our camera gear, which is all on our back. You have to carry 2 bags at a time, full of chargers, batteries, all of that. It's quite difficult in that sense. But the main difficulty at the moment is having the low energy, having my body fat go lower and lower. It becomes harder and harder for the body to be able to kind of source energy from the body rather than having any food. But yeah, definitely the challenge is something which I'm very comfortable with. Yeah, I don't really come out here just to test myself. I like to have that. I like to have that sense of achievement and that go. Testing myself isn't the main thing, because like I know I can do certain things. There's certain things like I know I can do. I know that if I put my mind to it, I can do it. So I'm not coming out here to test myself, but I'm coming out here to kind of achieve something very difficult, something which is out of the norm. Like a lot of people, you know, when people were kids, you know, people wanted to be, you know, astronauts or, you know, like famous, like world-class footballers. But you know, I know I'm not going to be any of those two. But what I can do is push myself as hard as I can, give like 120%, and I can, you know, achieve different things with like kind of different like successes, and it's a different achievement, and it's not something which a lot of people could do, because people aren't willing to do it. People might not have the ambition or the drive to do it, and it kind of gives you a whole different life. Because obviously in kind of the Western world, everything comes so easy to you. There's a, you know, like 24 hours there's a shop like somewhere to kind of buy food. But here you kind of got to kind of escape from it all. You kind of live a different life for a certain amount of days, and that's what kind of excites me, how different it is here compared to how I get home. But like one of my main motivations nowadays, whilst I'm actually in this rainforest, is to get that kind of satisfaction and having that kind of that first meal when I get back to England. Like having a nice warm sausage roll. I know it's simple, but that's something which I look forward to, and I feel like before I have that sausage roll, I need to kind of achieve what I want to achieve out here before I feel like I truly deserve it.
How do you feel like you're going to adapt back into normal sort of 9 to 5 routine, having been out here for sort of 21 days? Do you think that's going to be difficult, or do you think, you know, will the urge to, you know, sort of get back out straight away?
Yeah, I feel like definitely when you get back from kind of these adventures, like from the Sahara Desert, you get like a incredible high that you've kind of achieved something, and everybody is trying to find out exactly what you did and that kind of stuff. But getting back into the 9 to 5 will be quite easy, because it will mean that I can just buy loads of food. I'll be an extra, so I'll be gorging on food for weeks and weeks and weeks, trying to get my body weight back up. So I'll definitely enjoy it, but there's always going to be that certain sense, a certain feeling of kind of dissatisfaction of you know, having had this experience and then obviously going back to the same job. There's always going to be that feeling of wanting to do something else and wanting to kind of move forward. So yeah, definitely it's going to make you essentially push yourself further in your life in England, rather than being kind of happy in a place where you're at. Because I've got a decent job, happy where it is, but you're going to want more. After this experience, you're always going to want more, because it's hard to go back, essentially, I think.
So for another kind of day, I've had to go back into shelter very, very early due to the rain coming in earlier and earlier, just due to kind of like us getting deeper into the monsoon season. As you can see, it's not looking too good outside. Just one thing I never said enough whilst actually filming this was just how impressed I was by James. He was an absolute trooper. I feel like when you're in the trip, you know, the hunger makes you feel, you know, less, you know, you're less enthusiastic and positive. But what's the noise? What noise? Listen. Can you hear it? What's the noise? Weird.
Okay, mate, how was last night? Sleep?
So last night I most probably got the least sleep since I've been here. I was sleeping with the mosquito net. It sort of pretty much rained pretty much non-stop. On and off, to be fair. The mosquito net was really wet, so it was a very sort of restless night's sleep. I don't think I got any more than an hour, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've woken up today, I've gone down, got some water, tried to get some more fluid within the...
Yeah, I know when I woke up this morning, I was completely drained. My stomach hurt.
Yeah.
Did your stomach hurt?
Yeah, so like, now I'm feeling completely exhausted, drained, almost feel a little bit sick, to be fair. you know, just need to rest. So I might go back inside the shelter for a little while, just to try and rest up a little bit, and then hopefully have enough energy to just crack on with the shelter, make amendments ready for tonight.
Sweet. Gonna go back in to have a rest?
Yeah.
Have some rest, yeah. That's no problem, mate. You have a blackout? Yeah. Did your whole vision go? Yeah, so we just made it out to the river where we're going to try some fishing. Going to kind of improvise ourselves and do it. Our original method did involve using bamboo. We have got bamboo around here, as you might be able to see. It's quite poor lighting here because we are in the shade. It's the only place to film at the moment. But yeah, we're going to try doing it with 2 people in the water this time. See what happens. It's quite key today to kind of get some fish because, you know, we've got a choice of either thriving or surviving. Well, it's not really a choice, but you know, there's like, we're either going to thrive or survive. We can see out the rest of our days eating insects, and that'd be fine, but we'd have low energy. Or we can kind of try go out and catch some fish, have that more energy, and kind of really feel that motivation. Because my energy's getting low, blackouts are getting more and more frequent as well, and obviously starting to hurt as well. James, how's your energy feeling?
My energy's alright, to be fair,
Yeah.
but then I have more body fat to burn.
Yeah.
So my energy, I don't really get blackouts. But as Dan was saying, man, we need to, you know, we're not just out here to survive.
Yeah.
You know, because 21 days without food, your body can do that. But we want to be able to, you know, actually thrive. You know, be able to eat properly. You know, we want to be able to come out here and catch something.
Yeah.
So this today is very key.
Yeah.
You know, to then go back and it's going to pick up our morales, have the fire, have food, and then we can see the last bit of the journey home.
Exactly. Personally, I find when I was in the camp, my energy was extremely low. But the moment I get like into the water, into the stream, near to the river, when I'm being active, my energy seems to get higher. I guess because obviously when you're sitting down doing nothing, your metabolism slows. But now, you know, it should be kind of hiking back up a bit to getting a bit of a peak. And now my energy is, you know, I couldn't run a marathon, but my energy is as high as it's really ever been in terms of when we've been out here. I'm like motivated, got the energy to do whatever we need. You know, I don't feel lethargic at the moment. But yeah, I'm just ready to get going. Our plan is to take our mosquito net and go out to there. As you can see, we're going to have to cross a path of water. Not warm. I don't know, mate. Like that. Find the corner.
What, I'm looking for that pin.
The corners.
Like that. That's not a corner.
Yeah, that's a corner, yeah.
Yeah.
But we wanna. Okay, so our first method didn't work. Not surprising. It's that the kind of river's too deep to kind of go too far out in. So we're kind of based too close to the shore. So this time I'm going to use our main method, which we're kind of aiming to use. Going to see what we can do. Going to chop down some bamboo and attach.
Way too much energy for that first method as well. You know, even just doggy paddling was getting me out of breath. So the amount of energy that we would have exhausted trying that method would have meant that we wouldn't have been able to do it for very long.
Yeah. The next method will use some energy, but we'll see. Yeah, our hands are covered in these kind of tiny hairs, which are actually piercing into like the top dermal layers of our skin, our dermis, essentially. So we're gonna have to kind of get them out. They are some of them are a bit deep, to be honest. How are yours?
Yeah, mate. I don't have as many as you, but you should just wipe your hand.
There you go, most gone. There we have it. A brand new door. A bit like a broom. But lean it against there. And that's just trapping a lot more body heat. Even in the space of a day or a few hours, the constant storms will bring down many parts of our route down the stream, as you can see. And well, as I kind of noticed myself, that there are many parts of debris and fallen trees which I'm not familiar with at all. Are you familiar with it all, James?
No, not at all, mate.
As you're chucking it down, I'm going to have to put this main camera away, and we're going to have to film mostly using the GoPro. What I do have is that I'm fishing with live bait. I'll explain it later, but I have to put the camera away. It's getting very, very cold. Okay, just filming this on the GoPro. I collected these worms earlier, put it in a little bag for my, that I use for SD cards normally. Okay, so getting this hook. Oh, fuck me, it's so cold. Okay, get this hook. It took me, I was out here when it was dry, but it just took so goddamn long so I had to untangle the whole wire system. So I had prepared this earlier.
Rainstorm during the day. I was back at shelter trying to recover a little bit, as I didn't have a lot of energy. And yeah.
It's got bitten on my scrotum.
Really?
Yes.
By what?
By an ant.
Oh fuck.
Fun. Continue, mate.
So we got hit by another rainstorm. I was back at the shelter trying to recover. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Dan came down to try and sort the fishing line out, but with the rainstorm I woke up, didn't know where he was, so I quickly ran down the stream to try and see if he was okay, because I would have expected him back. So I've come down here. Dan's having a little bit of trouble from the sounds of it, trying to get this fishing line out. So I'm gonna just Dan.
Yeah. It's been like a massive issue with the fishing line tangling. And we're having to go back to our camp. It's pouring down, so we're going to have to stop fishing.
James is an absolute legend for coming to look for me. Obviously he was concerned, and you have to be concerned out here because you never know. I could have gone into the water and drowned. James is an absolute trooper. Like, I didn't say this enough during the trip in terms of, like, let's say at least on camera from doing the editing here. But yeah, James is an absolute trooper. Like, his positivity, like, got us through this, you know. We both obviously supported each other, but yeah, he's like just got such an overwhelming positivity that kind of kept me going, and he's an absolute legend for that. But whilst I'm like hungry, my mood just goes and my positivity goes, and I'm just drained a lot. But yeah, he is an absolute rock.
Just waiting for James. If he's not here in a few minutes, I'm going to go back out.
It's absolutely pouring down.
So when we got back to the shelter was already pretty waterlogged because, you know, we journeyed back in the rain. So what I did was I went out and cut a few more leaves down so we're not just sleeping in mud. So at the foot of my shelter are all these leaves, because otherwise we would literally, in the end of the night, be in a swamp, I believe, because, you know, the rain is getting so bad. And I managed to get some more big leaves, so I've managed to cover up a few spots on the outside as well. So hopefully that's going to give us one, installation, and two, a little bit more protection from the water.
Yeah, right now the water's coming, I feel it on my back, and as you can see it's on those leaves. We'll see, hopefully we can kind of just maintain ourselves through the night. So we were just about to go out fishing. As we were kind of getting ready to go, it started raining, unfortunately. The rain's just happening more and more during the day now, so it's kind of cutting our time. out to get any kind of food or sustenance. Yeah, at the moment it's kind of like dragging our energies down, and it's kind of forcing us to spend more time in a shelter. The rain is also having a very kind of pretty much a no calorie diet at the moment, is meaning that kind of our bodies are wanting to stay in the shelter because it kind of lowers their metabolism if we sleep more. Quite a big problem with any kind of cuts and scrapes is that invariably flies will start trying to eat you alive. If you're not careful, you will cut your leg. Tough times.
Tough times. It seems
Tough
to always
times.
happen to you as well.
It seems to be all the injuries happen to me.
Because I'm 2 weeks in and I've got no injuries.
You had sunburn, but that's about it.
Touch wood, but obviously feet injury. But
yeah.
But you seem to be getting the brunt of all the worst injuries.
Yeah. The thing is, as long as I can take it.
Take it like a man.
So what?
Yeah, man. So we just meandered our way down the stream. We're here at the river, aren't we, Dan?
Yeah.
Dan's going to go down in a second to check his hard work yesterday, see if that's paid off, to see if we caught any fish.
Yeah. Yeah, things are starting to take longer to do because of our lack of energy. Yeah, things are taking much longer than they would have done in the first few days. But yeah, we're gonna have a check, see what's happening there. We're not kind of hopeful of anything happening. We can get hopes up, but you never know. But we don't, to be able to survive this whole thing, we don't need fish.
It'd be nice to have some
It'd be nice
food.
to have it, but we know we don't need it. One of the main challenges I think that we found out here is the whole situation where nobody kind of scouted our location, and we've had difficult, like in most kind of TV shows where you see kind of survival related things, there's plenty of creatures around to be able to be killed, and they can be killed. That's one problem that we've faced out here. What do you think about it?
Yeah, because when we were looking into locations, our main sort of worry was water, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And actually this location we've been fairly lucky in the sense that we found
Very lucky, yeah.
the stream, but we always thought that where there's water there'd be wildlife.
Yeah.
And we were completely wrong with that.
Yeah. It's quite a dead forest. In many ways, obviously it's very alive, but there's quite a lot of dead wood around. I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but we haven't seen too many creatures along the floor. We see a few birds, very small birds, but we don't see too many creatures. Like time is kind of a big issue, but I feel very content in what we've achieved. We wanted to at least do 2 weeks out in the wild, at least 2 weeks, and we're almost up to the 2 week mark. In our second location, because we did 2 days in our first location, and we're hopefully going to hit maybe 18-19 days in our second location, and overall a good maybe 21 days. But yeah, we've definitely exceeded our targets that we wanted to hit. So yeah, I feel very proud about that.
Yeah, man, because last week I was feeling really down when I didn't have no sleep. It was cold. I kept feeling my body temperature was not where it needed to be, and I was quite close to calling it a day. Walking away from the whole project. But I'm still here, plowed through. And don't have that long left to go, and I can see the finish line now. There's no point giving up now. So I'm quite pleased with myself that I had the drive to
So as you can see on his back, so originally we had lots of bug bites which come out as little red marks, but now more and more as time's gone on, we've kind of got more kind of scarring and because we've been kind of scratching our bug bites, which is piercing our skin, making it scar up quite badly, as you can see right there, kind of all over. Just turn it, go back around to the back. Now lower back, the back's quite a big area, because obviously it's a place where you can't reach the bugs as well. I'm gonna see how I look. How does it look? A lot of bites?
So like, Dan's got a lot of bites, a lot of scratches, a lot of scars, you know. His arm, show me your left arm.
Got no blood there from scratching too much.
Yeah.
Just like all over, just like blood in place. Like if you check
it's almost like, it's
there,
almost
no blood from scratching.
like an adult version of chicken pox.
Unfortunately, because of the rain, kind of our twig pile that we were going to use for fire has now gotten very wet. We did bring some of it in. Wait, let me just start again. I need to change the focus.
Is that a twig pile?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately, James, our twig pile, which we were using in order to make a fire eventually, when we do need it, has unfortunately kind of gotten wet. We did bring some of it in to the shelter with us, but we can only bring in so much before there's just no space, because, you know, it is quite cramped in there, isn't it?
We're running out of space.
Yeah, so yeah, the twig pile is our twig pile has gotten wet, and we did bring some of it into our shelter with us, but as you know, you may know, so it's pretty cramped in our shelter. So it's gotten pretty wet. As you know, our twig pile is in our shelter, making it even more cramped than it already is. We're about maybe one more cramped night before I'll kind of kick you out.
Yeah.
And you've got to kind of build a mansion or something like that.
Yeah, man. Be better than this
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you know, hopefully the sun will come out another day, and it will dry our pile again, and we can use that in collection. Because essentially, inside the wood, it's going to be kind of dry. If you can get some wood shavings, that's already part of our tinder done. So.
We've got a big bag already collected.
Yeah, full of it already, full of leaves. So yeah, that's all kind of good for now. Right now, well, during that thunderstorm, as you can see, a lot of the leaves on our shelter have been dying quite recently. So we're gonna have to. How old are you?
Well, my hands are getting numb and that.
Try to show body heat then, and then that'll fix it. Keep your torso warm. Your hands will take care of themselves, won't they?
This week, lots of kinds of changed. Like obviously we were unsuccessful in trying to find a flat land, which meant our whole plans had to change, which meant we came back here, and we tried to focus a lot on, fishing and stuff like that. So Dan, stepped up, sort of tried out different methods. We sort of went down to the stream, and sort of went the way that in the back of my mind I thought I knew it would go, which is it went unsuccessful. We didn't come out here with any sort of fishing equipment, nothing like that. None of us had really fished either, like properly, back in the UK. So I did think it was not going to be as successful, but it was nice to have that little bit of hope. But that's now gone.
It's worth trying, wasn't it? But yeah, we knew it was going to be very difficult because we didn't have experience. But yeah.
So that was one thing, but hunger hasn't massively affected our morale. It's affected energy, and I've seen a big change in Dan over the sort of the last few weeks. Like when we first come out here, I've seen Dan adapt to situations a lot more. Sort of in the first week, he was very sort of headstrong. This is how we wanted it to be done. Throwing out orders sort of left, right and centre, thinking this is the film that he wanted to make. But as sort of time's gone on, the sort of surroundings and sort of energy, sort of the weather as well, has sort of made him adapt as well. I think in a good way, to know that actually, the film's going to turn out the way it is, and I don't come from a film background, so I've sort of relied quite heavily on Dan for that as well. But as time's gone on, we're both having input on, how we want certain things, what we want certain things to do. So, especially now, sort of definitely becoming sort of more equals, whereas most probably in week 1 I was leaning on him too much, and you know, he thought himself as maybe a little bit more of a leader, but now it's sort of it's leveled out pretty well, and you know, he's lent on me, I think, especially for motivation and morale, seeing, like, because obviously he's getting down to more skin and bones, so his level of energy is definitely a lot lower than mine, and sort of I've taken it upon myself to just do certain things which, you know, going down collecting water, as simple as it is, you know, does take a little bit of energy, because you know, you've got to get up them steep hills, but it also gives me time to reflect, and you know, I've had a lot of time to think out here, you know, on what I want to do next, you know, one being the next challenge, what do I want to do there, and sort of also, you know, what do I want to do career wise and going forward. So that's exciting for me in my head, but the one thing I still can't control is, you know, the weather. It's become a lot more unpredictable since sort of last week. It was very predictable in the first week, you know, come 7 o'clock it would rain, it would go on for a few hours, but over the sort of the last week, it's some days it hasn't rained, some days it does, some days it's rained all day, and that I suppose is us getting more into the monsoon season, and sort of what we were trying to facilitate before we came out here was, we were thinking that it would be raining all the time, but actually when we came out here it was a lot hotter than we anticipated. I still can't get, you know, scratching all the time, so I can't control bugs, but you know, I'm you know, Wednesday last week I was almost ready to throw in the towel. My body had got really cold. I thought, you know, what am I doing out here, you know, what am I gaining from this? And actually what I'm gaining from this is quite a lot, to be fair. You know, one, more sense of character, but two, you know, it's a story to tell, you know, so I tried to plough through. We came up with different ways, you know, it's about surviving, so we've used certain stuff that, okay, you might not have in a certain survival aspect, but you know, we had brought them along, so we were going to use them in different ways. One being the bin bag at night. One, it's meant that I'm now keeping in body heat, but it's allowed Dan to use sort of it's almost like this material blanket, for him to use.
It's an
that
emergency foil.
Yeah, emergency blanket.
Emergency foil.
Emergency foil blanket for him to use by himself, which has meant that actually we've both gained. You know, we're both keeping a little bit warmer. It's now getting to a stage where we might have to rethink that, because it's now getting to a stage where it's getting even colder. But you know, we are adapting, and I'm trying to count down the days, and you know, I'm working in percentages. You know, we're 75% of the way through this whole thing now. Got 25% to go, 5% every day. You know, we're nearly there. You know, and my stomach knows that. I know that. It's about counting down the hours. We're sort of running out of things, you know, to fill our day with, because we're not fishing. Didn't want to exhaust that energy. We've got a long trek ahead of us come Sunday, so it's about building ourselves up. We're going to smash a diet of bugs up until then. We're going to try and get a little fire going to boost morale. Maybe get some warm water in us as well. I think, you know, that would give our body a great boost. It's about just continuing the way we've been going, because you know, it's been successful. You know, we haven't failed. You know, we haven't had to give up. You know, we've both shown great sense of character. You know, and I think we've got this. And you know, it'd be interesting to see once we finish this, where we can take on maybe next journey. You know, can we step it up a gear? Can we, you know, do stuff differently? And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so this whole kind of project's been very interesting. Kind of learned a lot of things out here so far. One of the main things as well is kind of find that balance between like risk and recklessness, essentially, because you know, risk and recklessness are two completely different things. When we went out to kind of find the flat land, hopefully to find more creatures and next to the river, we kind of really kind of going from the level of risk over to the recklessness, because you know we were going a route which we were unsure about. It was taking a long time. We were dehydrated. We were starved. We were like lack of energy. But I feel like out here now, we've got a nice balance between the two now. You know, having that water is great, but you know, in your life, you've got to find a balance between risk and recklessness. But often, the thing with risk and recklessness is that they both sometimes offer big like rewards. There's big kind of, you know, kind of returns you can get on it, essentially, in terms of like what you learn and, you know, how you develop as a person. Kind of recently, we've been spending more and more time in bed, I guess, or I say in bed, but we've been spending more and more time in a shelter, kind of going into there early, well, a lot of times because of rain, and then essentially getting out there a bit later in the morning. It's just because I think it kind of allows us to rest a bit more, because we don't really sleep the whole time, so it's a bit like very interrupted in terms of speed to get out. I didn't put my audio on. So man, just keep recording. Okay, so out here you kind of learn so much, especially things about, or the notion about risk and recklessness. Like there are times when we've been very reckless in terms of when we were trying to find the more flat land, so heading a bit further up the river to find where the land was more flat, as kind of we were told by Google Maps and Google Earth before we even came out here, that it'd be more flat and open, which would hopefully bring the possibility of more creatures as well as being more remote. But you know, with like lack of water, lack of energy, we kind of were really kind of taking a massive risk, and that became very reckless. So I think coming back here at that point after a few days really changed the whole notion, and you know, the risk is a lot more measurable here, a lot more controlled. The thing about like risk and recklessness is that often it can bring big rewards to yourself and kind of pay you back in terms of the way you grow as a person and what you can achieve. So it's kind of always tempting to kind of go against that. Okay, so yeah, recently we do find ourselves spending more time in the shelter, because this is partly because of the rain, but also because of our kind of low calorie diet at the moment. We don't have the kind of energy to be kind of moving around all day, and it kind of shortens our day as well. We spend less time out in the daylight, which means, you know, it's a shorter day and we get back to our shelter a bit early and we wake up a bit later and get out there a bit later. But because, you know, we're not eating too much food, we need to slow down our metabolism. And the best way to slow down your metabolism is to kind of stop moving. So lying down is probably one of the best things you can do in order to do that. Because at the end of the day, we do have potentially like a 4-hour trek out of here just to find people. And that's going to require a lot of energy. We've got a lot of gear to carry. We haven't got anybody carrying it for us, unfortunately. We don't have any kind of car planned or any way to get out other than walking. So it's going to be quite a big trek, and we need the energy for that. And that is, you know, that is our main thing at the moment. That's our main challenge that's going to be coming up, being able to make that trek. Personally, I've found James to be a massive source of inspiration out here. He's got a lot of energy. You know, there's times when we both feel, at different times, we both feel low. There's times when we feel high. I feel like when I was moving, trying to go down a stream, I got a lot of high energy. And when I'm kind of not moving too much, and when I'm doing like the meticulous parts of this kind of whole project, just like changing SD cards, my motivation goes low. But definitely having two people out here definitely makes it a lot easier in terms of having that kind of motivation and kind of that drive to keep on going, because you keep each other going strong. And definitely he's a very strong character, and he's like, ultimately he's got a lot of positivity about him. He's never given up. He's never really shown really much any kind of weakness or anything like that. He's never really been down for too long. That's something which sometimes happens to me, especially when I've got really low energy, you know, with my body fat kind of dripping down, with my abs starting to come out, which hasn't happened in a long time, which I'm not a fan of. I prefer to have quite a bit of fat on me to give me a bit of energy. Yeah, James is always there, and he's, you know, strong the whole way through. And yeah, you know, he likes to sleep like we all do. But I like to sleep as well. So yeah, it's definitely great having him out here. I wouldn't want anyone else out here. One thing I do wish we knew out here was kind of knowledge of mushrooms. There are mushrooms in all places, but so many are poisonous that there's no point in risking eating any of them. If you had like a deep knowledge of mushrooms, we'd be able to have more food and to eat. You know, if we understood fungi a lot more, you know, there'd be kind of a bit more sustenance. But you know, that kind of happens. But you know, a lot of it's going to be poisonous anyway, so you know, we don't even touch it, we don't even get close to it, because it's not really worth it in the end. Coming up to these kind of late stages, we are kind of having to get ourselves a daily routine, because you know, we've proven that you can survive out here for like a decent period of time, but because we get into the later stages, we're kind of getting ready to go, you know, the end's in sight, and we kind of have to have a daily routine of getting things done, you know, getting water, getting ourselves clean, things like that. The routine will kind of keep us a bit more sane and kind of fill out our day a bit more, rather than just kind of sitting around and just kind of filming videos as much as we can.
Again in Malaysia in this monsoon season, it's pouring down during the day for the thunderstorms. It's preventing us from doing anything other than stay and keep refuge inside the shelter. How do you find it?
We're not very dry, to be fair. It seems like all the stuff that we put on the shelter sort of first week, that seems to have died. So we're sort of only down to one sort of level of leaves, and that's letting quite a lot of water into the shelter, so we're getting very wet.
It's super wet, as you can see outside. We've had to put the night vision on just because it's getting dark outside. Not because of the time of day, but because the clouds are just covering the sun. We've also had to bring in a lot of twigs and sticks that we were keeping dry outside, just so we can kind of keep them dry inside our shelter and hopefully use them to make fire when we get the opportunity. Here we go, just another time lapse of us kind of repairing our shelter after it was, you know, storming during the day. You know, we would try to make as much amendments to the shelter whilst it's still light and not cold outside, and you can see, because every minute you spend kind of improving the shelter whilst you can, that's going to make those 12 hours at night, the hardest 12 hours, just feel a little bit less difficult. Just going to dig up some worms using this machete, digging shallow to kind of conserve energy, just in order to kind of have some more kind of food to eat. Yeah, so I'm just digging up worms, as you can see, using this machete, not going too deep in, so that I can essentially find some worms for us to eat.
Good man.
There you go, James, can you pass you some leaves, mate?
Yep.
Nice. See how they burn. I'm going to focus on the paper for now. See if we can get some leaves. See if we can get some leaves as well.
Twigs.
behind you. That's right.
Oh, fuck.
I leave it on there, so it'll cook like that, I guess.
Okay.
See if you can try to. Oh, nice fire. That's gonna put it. I'll definitely can't move the pot.
Fire out here to sustain every day would be very difficult. You know, to keep leaves and twigs dry would be very, very difficult in this kind of weather. You know, we tried with a black bag to, you know, keep some sticks and twigs and leaves dry in the shelter with us. That failed. The rain got to that. So, you know, it's been warm enough out here for us not to need the fire, and you know, we've got by and we've survived, which is what we set out to do. But we just want that one last sort of meal, nice warm, getting our stomachs ready for our trek in a few days' time.
And yesterday was our 2-week anniversary out here.
Yeah.
We hit the 14 days yesterday, so you know, of course, a celebration. Cool. And that's what it is, you know.
And originally we were only going to try and set out for 2 weeks, but we're pushing on. We want to see if we can try and make the 18 days.
Big 18.
Yeah. To show that, you know, 1, we've survived, but 2, we can go even further than the target that we set out to do. I can't tell whether that's actually recorded. So, you know, us trying to get to 18 days, this has given us, I think, a bit of a morale boost as well. We've been quite down. Energy's been very low. You know, we haven't needed fire up until now, you know, but we wanted to show that we could do it, you know, even if it does mean using the stuff that we no longer need, and you know, just to give us that bit of energy ready for that big trek in a few days to get out of here. So, you know, I think we succeeded in what we set out to do here with the fire, so that's good. And you know, I can't wait to sort of sample a bit of the cuisine that we've created here.
Yeah, mate, smash that. High five, low five, man.
Yeah, man.
Smashing it, mate. Absolutely loving it.
Yep.
This is definitely a highlight. Fire is our TV out in the wild.
We haven't had TV.
What would rate this?
You can see, was that Michael?
Yeah.
Check that out. Yeah.
This has got to be a good 9.2 on IMDb.
Yeah. It's definitely competing with Shawshank, I know that.
Oh, fuck. Mine's just...
Is that mine or yours?
Mine's just gone as well.
Oh, because there's a file size limit. We've done about half hour. Just record again and record again on mine, and can you reframe mine if you can?
Right. We've been quite lucky really, because we could have needed fire day 1 if it wasn't down to the fact that we found a stream that was very drinkable, which could have changed the whole situation out here. Because as you could tell, we've only just managed to make fire. We've done it quite successfully, but only with the stuff that we brought. If we had to try and make fire, you know, using the stuff around us, I think this trip could have gone a different way. But you know, I think that's, you know, we use our heads, you know, and we made sure that we were close enough to that stream. And you know, when we realised that we couldn't get close enough to the river, you know, we decided to come back here and, you know, use what we had already found.
Yeah. You get lucky, don't you? Because the water was lucky, but in terms of food, finding any lizards or snakes or anything around here, like any rats even, we haven't found any. But the water's been on our side, and that's made our life a lot easier, because as you can tell, you know, this isn't a fire which we could replicate day in, day out, as, you know, this is our gear, and it's a finite amount. Do you remember our fires at uni? We used to obviously with lighters, just do our own little bonfires in our garden.
Yeah. Nothing like this though, is it?
No. With lighters, and you've got tissue paper, it's easy. Be happy what we've done out here. So far 15 days, no clothes, didn't bring any food or water. 2 amateurs, no support team, all by ourselves. I think we've done well. But now it's gonna start raining anytime soon. We've had a bit of a drizzle, and now it's gonna put some of our kind of gear away. Morale has been boosted by this massively. Yeah, very happy right now, very content. But yes, now, yeah, very happy. Yeah, this has boosted my morale. My energy levels are up. It's nice sitting down watching the fire. Nice to get a bit of warm food inside me.
So we got day 16. By this point we were pretty knackered. I've been starving for a long time.
How does that feel?
Feels cold, but whenever the water gets inside like your cuts and your, you know, where you've been like scratching your mosquito bites and that.
Yeah.
Getting comfortable.
It's cold.
It's a bit cold.
So we didn't really film much footage at all on this day, just because like we'd made fire I think the previous day, you know, we'd had water, we'd had made shelter, we'd had as much food as we were going to get, being like that lizard,
No, I'll never be clean out here anyway.
berries and worms and, you know, bugs. We weren't expecting to get any fish, so that we were kind of like, we'd done all the stuff we needed to do, we'd done all the, you know, the cornerstone 3 areas of survival. Today was just more about just getting clean, hopefully meaning that the bugs will bite us less. But yeah, that's literally, yeah, all we filmed today. Because if we film other stuff, it just takes energy to do it and effort, and you're just starving and you're just not really motivated to.
So I guess during the night, I know we're both facing difficulties with circulation, I think, with our hands.
Yeah, so my left thumb and finger are getting really numb. It's a feeling I've not been able to sort of shake away for most probably the better part of now 3 days.
Yeah.
Which isn't good. I think it's down to the fact that I need a proper night's sleep.
Yeah.
In a proper bed where I'm not, you know, laying down. On a slight.
Because we're on a slope.
Yeah.
When our hands, obviously, when we sleep, if your hands are above your heart, makes it more difficult for kind of our blood to kind of go around, and we keep waking up with like really numb hands.
Yeah.
You know, it's our feet which are outside. Well, our feet are closest to the cold outside, so it's not down to really temperature. It seems to be more about circulation, because, you know, our hands are often above our head when we sleep.
Yeah. No.
You know, with your hand, you know, over your head, over your heart, essentially. So that's kind of like coming down to, I guess, not having enough food inside us and lack of energy.
Yeah.
How's your energy levels?
So my energy levels aren't too bad, to be fair. They've been pretty steady all week. Sometimes I do experience little dips in energy, but, you know, we're nearly at the end now, so
Yeah.
you know, that's what's motivating me now, is to get out, get
Yeah.
some food.
Yeah, mine have been shot for a while, as you know. Just in case I was just having so little body fat left to do. Haven't been down to this level of body fat since maybe at one point during uni, when I was kind of cutting down to get in shape, and that probably wasn't even this low. But yeah, definitely having troubles having any kind of energy, because I've got no kind of reserves to kind of work from now.
Yeah.
It's kind of making it tough. The blackouts are still
Yeah,
an
I'm
issue. Yeah.
suffering bad from the blackouts.
Yeah, like it's not every time I stand up, but you know, it'll happen sometimes. How about yours?
No, mine seem to. The only time they do seem to happen is when I don't have any water. So first thing in the morning, once I've got water inside me, then I'm all right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming up to our final day tomorrow.
So we're on day 17 now.
Yeah.
You know, day 18 tomorrow. We've got sort of a big decision, because, you know, obviously we've got that big trek that we keep talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it is a pretty big trek.
And
you
we've
know,
kind of got bags to carry, and we've kind of deliberated.
So we don't know whether, you know, we do half today.
Yeah.
And we set off in a minute, or we do the whole thing tomorrow.
Yeah. I've been thinking. I know we've been like, at one point we did say maybe do it in 2 days, and then we kind of came to the decision to do it in 1 day, just so we've got good shelter. But personally, with my energy levels, I feel like doing a whole trek in 1 day would be too much for me.
Too much.
Being able to carry stuff and being able to keep moving, you know, is gonna be, you know, it's gonna put me on the verge of passing out quite easily, especially on the terrain that we have to walk. Yeah, so yeah, literally, yeah. Personally, my energy levels, I don't think I could take it, especially on like the train, which we have to walk on, and the movement we've got to do, and we'd have to make sure we do it before the midday sun comes in. Yeah. Personally, I know there's advantages to kind of being here. We can get to our first shelter. Yeah. It's a terrible shelter. It's going to be completely dead, and it was the last night we spent in it. It was absolutely horrible. We were soaked and miserable inside there. But personally, I think I could take a really, really bad night over 1 day full of complete trekking. What about you? Like, what are your thoughts? I know that you wanted to do it in one day.
I wanted to stay here. The shelter's a lot better here. Better night's sleep. Would give us more energy to trek out. But, you know, the pro is to go into the other one. We will get out earlier.
Yeah.
Which could be nice. And obviously we've got to think about your health. You know, your energy levels. We don't want you passing out now.
Yeah.
And so
At this
I'm
point,
happy to do it now because I've got the energy to do both. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah. So if you
You
set
being
out
fit
soon,
for
yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
then I will follow.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, the sooner we kind of get out, able to do stuff, and just at the moment we are kind of a bit inactive because we know that tomorrow's our final day. Tomorrow's the day that we leave, and we're not really doing too much because we know that it's the end. Essentially, you know, we know, you know, we already completed our whole task at the 2 week mark, and we've stretched it to 18 days. I think we've done amazing to do that. For two people who, you know, haven't built shelter before. I've never built shelter. You've never built shelter. No. It's been at wet conditions. You know, it's been very difficult conditions. Like neither of us have ever hunted an animal or anything like that, and we've kind of just come out and we've done well. But yeah, I feel like doing 2 days.
It's been a success, man.
Yeah, it's been a massive success, mate. Smashed that, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, just I think the bugs.
Yeah.
The bugs are one of the worst parts, aren't they?
From the bugs.
Yeah, the bugs are, you know, because we scratch, we get bitten, we scratch, it scabs, and then we scratch the scabs because it still itches and they're still biting around that same area. So I feel like, we can kind of, we've completed our aims.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of ready to make a move.
I think we're ready to leave. We're in the final stretch now. You know, let's get out of here. If it means we do it over 2 days, we do it over 2 days.
Yeah.
But you know, it's time to go. You know, I think both our bodies are saying that, both our minds are saying that, and I think, you know, the quicker we plough on, get out of here.
It's okay. There's
we can rest and eat.
Yeah, there's nothing left to achieve really now. No. We've kind of done what we need to do. So, James, just goodbye to our lovely shelter. At times it kept us dry. At times kept us very wet. It left us quite cold quite often. But it's our shelter and it needed a lot of work to do. It was tight and cramped, but it worked for us. It worked for us in the end.
It's done a purpose, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's done what it needed to do. It's got us to day 17, and we're going to move on, and we get to day 18 tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. As you can see, there's literally holes everywhere in this shelter. Alright, so we just kind of got into our first shelter that we have had set up for a long time. This one has been kind of in bad shape, extremely bad shape at the moment. All the leaves are dead, so it's pretty kind of haggard. It's been lightning for quite a while now, for the past maybe 2 hours maybe. So we're just going to stay in here. It's been raining down a bit, but it's not going to dampen our spirits, because essentially it doesn't change the fact that we are going to be eating some big meals tomorrow.
Yeah, man, really looking forward to that, man. Really looking forward to eating the meals, getting the calories in. You know, just got to see out the last remaining hours of this journey, to be fair. And then so it's just woken up. It's our final day
and I'm very excited to make a move. Last night I had a lot of energy. I don't know whether it was the shelter, which is poor to sleep in, that stopped me from sleeping much, but I was very excited. It was like Christmas Day, kind of Christmas Eve all over again. We are very excited to move out and get some food hopefully today.
So just woken up, it's really early in the morning, it's about 7 o'clock. I haven't slept at all. Last night I came down with a massive headache right over my right eye, which caused me quite a lot of pain. It was making me feel quite nauseous, making my legs feel really funny. So what I did, so I don't disturb Dan, I came outside and just sat outside for 5 hours. It's now feeling a little bit better. Still feeling not 100%, but the fact that we're getting out today is really driving me on, driving me forward. And the fact that we're going to get food and we're going to get a proper night's sleep. So that's all behind me now, and it's to looking forward to getting those rewards that these last 18 days have now finally paid off.
Sweet, so it's our final day. Very excited for this day. It's a long goal challenge. We've kind of been counted down to it every day, kind of get one step closer. And as we do get closer and closer to it, I kind of get less and less hungry. But I've been planning my meals, what to do. The thing about this adventure, it didn't go how we kind of planned it to go to. Pretty much like any adventure that anybody goes on, it never goes as they plan. And that's what makes it more interesting, because you can't kind of pre-write it or kind of pre-script it. It just happens, and you got to go with the flow. You got to take the knocks, and you got to keep on going. I feel like we've both achieved massive amounts out here, going this long, without clothes, without bringing any food or bringing any water in with us. I think it's completely impressive. We've done it without any support from anybody else. We've had our kind of challenges, on our first night, smashed my hand open with a machete. That really sort of wrote me off for the whole thing, but carried on going. No matter what injuries we picked up, no matter how many bug bites we've had, and they are probably some of the worst parts of it, is the scratching and the bites, and then you're scratching the bites, and you're scratching the scabs, and then you're just pulling up the scabs, and you just keep on scratching. It feels good to finally get to an end, and we've completed what we needed to do. We completed our challenge, and can two kind of ordinary people, unsupported, go out and survive in the wild? Hell yeah, hell yeah. So now it's just on to a nice trek today, because we know every step will get us that much closer to food. Every step will be a increasing percentage closer to food. But yeah, very excited and ready to go. I'm proud of James, everything he's achieved out here. I think he's done great. I've seen a new side to him of drive and determination. But yeah, very happy and glad we kind of achieved it and smashed our challenge.
Good team. Well done,
oh
team.
yeah! Woo!
So we finally made it to the last day, which is, in my head, we've been building up for a very long time. I'm quite excited. It seems like all this hard work has finally paid off. We've done something that I don't think a lot of people would have thought we could both do. I think a lot of people coming into this would have thought, because of Dan's previous experience, he would have smashed it. But a lot of people would have looked at me and gone, nah, not a chance. Written me off straight away. Here's a guy that, sort of 5 years ago weighed 16 stone. Now, most probably about 12 stone from this. Had great amounts of energy coming into this, has had great amount of energy through, and I think personally I've smashed it. I've done the challenge, I've exceeded the challenge. There might be a few things along the way that I'd like to have changed, maybe, but I think I've pushed myself in a way that, a lot of people wouldn't think I would be able to. Even I don't think at times that I was going to make it to the end, but I have. I'm here, and now I can go reap the rewards of, it being the final day, and that's getting out. So, Dan, yeah, it's been 18 days.
Yeah.
You've lived out in the wild,
Yeah.
You've had no clothes, your body's been free, yeah?
Yeah.
How's it finally feeling, yeah, to pick up these clothes after 18 days? Some of them maybe a little bit wet, How's it going to feel to put those back on your skin?
Well, that smells like damp. Wow, it smells. Personally, I don't care for clothes too much. I'd be happy to walk out here completely naked, but we are going to be getting very close to people today, so we kind of have to put clothes on to not cause too much alarm. But the way this is smelling, I am not looking forward to it. But if it gets closer to food, I guess it gets closer to food. Wow, look at that. These are normally tight on me.
Yeah.
They feel so baggy. Obviously elastic, but wow. They feel so baggy. I've lost a lot of weight.
Dropping the pounds, mate.
Yeah, I literally like, these look weight, because I normally wear them, normally a tight fit, but they feel a few sizes too big.
Like most people, you know, they've got their little body issues, but you know, I've adapted to being naked. I've actually quite liked it at times, especially when sitting in the stream. But
Freedom, innit?
This is you know, going to be a strange experience, putting these clothes back on, you know, back onto my body. So yeah, I'm going to crack on. See how this goes.
Do 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 do. Do 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 psh do psh do psh do psh do do do. It's like a striptease in reverse.
And then my t-shirt, you know.
How's the smells? How's the smells on the t-shirt and the clothes?
Oh mate, fantastic.
Oh mate, you're lucky.
But, you know,
There you go.
as you can tell, quite baggy, you know. Maybe like I like my clothes baggy, but that's quite baggy, isn't it?
Bit of a joke, yeah.
So, you know, that's me now. Done. Get the shoes on, crack on out of here, you know. And we've done it.